What up, what up? You were listening to Petty Sports, the podcast, live on Kingz Broadcasting Studios. It's your boy, the host, Mr. Famous Feez. They call me Facts. Yo, I'm here live with my man Adam. Holla at him.
Man, what's going on, everybody? We back Wednesday again. Yes, we're back already. 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Petty Sports, Kingz Broadcasting Studios as well. Call the show. Make sure. Tune in. Tell us about your takes. We got a live one tonight, guys. Feez, what we got?
Oh, man, we got a crazy docket for you. I know y'all watching the play-in game as we speak, so I know y'all already see Memphis is giving San Antonio the business.
I just think Pop needs to hang it up a little bit after this now.
We're going to break down this play-in tournament in depth. We'll talk a little bit more NBA. We got a whole lot of NBA action for you. I know some of y'all been waiting on it, so we got that. But then we're going to take it back to the NFL. We got to talk about these rookie quarterbacks, the Madden ratings, the Pro Football Focus quarterback ratings. And then we're going back to talk about the NBA again because Kwame Brown dropped some bombs on the sports world. So we got to chop it up about that. So, man, we always start off with an off the top. And Adam ain't even know where I was going to go with this. But
on the spot already.
Oh, on the spot, absolutely. Off the top, we got reports. Brian Hoyer re-signed with the Patriots. What does that mean for Cam and Mac Jones?
Well, I mean, obviously, they looks like they want to get some entrance in the house. I mean, obviously, Mac coming in, there's still something. There's some questions about him. You know he can play in the league right now, so they say. Hasn't played a snap yet. Being at Alabama, we know it's like a safety blanket. And then, obviously, Cam Newton, I mean, this is a big prove year for him. He had a prove year coming up. Last year, caught COVID, wasn't fair. Had a hell of a game against Russell Wilson, and everybody was up in arms. Comeback player of the year. And, I was thinking the same thing. And then now here we go, falling back. So, I mean, it just sounds like insurance at the house at the end of the day. I mean, are you going to have Cam? It's a question. Are you confident in Mac Jones? It's a question. Yeah, Belichick had confidence, but, I mean, is he really that dude? I'm going to confidently say no. Let's hear from the Pats fan, though.
It's not even insurance.
It's solidification.
Brian Hoyer has 6 years under the Patriots system under his belt.
Yeah.
Brian Hoyer is there to basically coach and mentor Mac Jones while Cam does his thing. Mm-hmm. He's not there to play. He's just there because Stidham doesn't know anything. I mean, I've also heard that the Houston Texans are in trade talks to get Jarrett Stidham, which is out of this world. I'm like, what? Will y'all give us a pack of Skittles for him? I'll take it. Yeah. Give me the purple bag, please. Give him anything. Get rid of Stidham. Jesus. But yeah, man, Stidham can't help Mac Jones. Mac Jones can learn from Hoyer. Hoyer is never meant to play. He's there because he can be an extra coach.
He's literally like a second book for them to read out of. Yeah. Okay, coach is asleep. Yeah, you can shoot me a text at 4:30 when we're up ready for workouts. Like, yeah, I got you on your question.
Yeah, that's all he's there for.
Right.
Yes, I mean, that's all it means. There's no threat to Cam. But we saw him last year. Hoyer got in the game after Stidham flamed out in week 4 against Kansas City. Yeah. Both of them, straight dumpster fire. Yeah. No way he's going in the game.
Right.
But he does know the system. I mean, he probably has a future in coaching. He can end up being a quarterback coach.
I guess that's something, right?
And then end up moving on. I mean, he played in the NFL for a long time. So, I mean, Hoyer has some value, just not on the field.
Right.
So, I mean, I think that's all it is with that. So, man, we're going to move on in, jump right into the NBA. First topic at hand, the NBA play-in tournament. We talked about it last week. We told you LeBron was against it, and we also know LeBron is playing in it. So we'll get to that in un momento. Last night, the Indianapolis Pacers. I know nobody ever actually says the whole thing.
Yeah, I was confused for a second.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie.
He thought I was going to say Colts. The Indiana Pacers just straight waxed the Charlotte Hornets 144 to 117. Wasn't a game at all.
At all.
What happened out there?
I mean, you look at the Pacers moving the ball well. Obviously, they were able to create space, get some shots open. McDermott got open, obviously, a lot in the first quarter, dropping 16 points, had 21 on the game. Didn't even have to come out for the fourth quarter. You look at a lot of people, 8 players actually scored in double digits for the Pacers, all of them having at least 12-plus points. I mentioned McDermott, obviously. Sabonis with 14, 21, and 9, just shy of a triple-double. And you look at the fact that they shot 55% from the field and 45% from downtown. Anytime you can shoot like that in any NBA game, let alone when you know it's a big game and this is going to be for you to move forward in the play-in tournament, you can win a lot of games like that. At that point, it kind of doesn't really matter the talent. If you got numbers like that, you're going to be out there winning ball games. And then you look at they out-rebounded Charlotte by 16. Very physical down there. I mean, you got Doug McDermott stepping up when you knew LeVert was going to be out. You obviously had the other gentleman, Brissett, who stepped up huge, was the leading scorer compared to scoring just 10 a game in the regular season, went on to now scoring 23 to be a leader for them. So absolutely great to see the Pacers come out and do this. And I mean, it's not really a surprise because, okay, like we know what the Hornets are. Got a lot of young talent. Only really buzz is LaMelo. So this was an easy one. 144 to 117. Yeah, they walked him. Too easy for them.
It was pretty much a shoot around. I mean, just like you were saying, they dominated them on the boards 54 to 36. I mean, that was a massacre. I mean, LaMelo had one of the worst games of his career.
Yep.
14 points on 4 of 14 shooting. Had 1 board, 4 assists, and 4 turnovers. The dude's plus minus was minus 35.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not winning any games like that when your so-called Rookie of the Year candidate has a game like that. And, I mean, it wasn't just all him. The team did not show up.
Right.
It was 17-4 in the first 5 minutes of the game, and it was effectively over right from the start.
It really was.
I mean, like, I sat down, was ready to dig in, was like, all right, had everything cleared out, like I'm about to dial into this game. Halfway through the first quarter, I was like, don't I need to wash the dishes or something? Like, there's some more stuff that could be done around this house. I'll come back and check on this later. Came back, oh, it's worse.
Yeah.
It just wasn't a game.
Up by 30 by the end of the third quarter. Beginning of the fourth quarter, they were up by 30.
It was god-awful.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't a playoff game, so I mean, you can't say it was a horrible postseason performance, but
can't say that.
It's like a purgatory game. Wasn't regular season, wasn't postseason. I don't even know how the NBA is going to actually treat these as far as stats. Where do they go?
Aren't they play-in stats? I'm pretty sure I heard
I mean,
that.
are play-in stats separate from everything else now? Because that's a whole new category of games. That ain't regular season and that ain't playoffs.
I'm pretty sure play-in stats are a separate thing now. And you got the Grizzlies walking the Spurs right now by 21. I mean, I already know Twitter. This is terrible for the league. I can't believe the NBA would do this. They should take this money, put it somewhere else. I already hear it now. Twitter's absolutely blowing up about the play-in tournament. But the real game is tonight, obviously, with the Lakers. We'll get there in a second, but yeah, this whole play-in tournament is like I said, I like it, but I want to see better competition in this. You know, not that I expected anything out of the Hornets. Looks like the Spurs are disappointing me as well. So it's blasphemous to say the least.
I mean, the 9-10 games have proven to be bad.
Right.
7-8, whole different story.
Correct.
I think it'll be very different tonight for the 10 o'clock game, just like it was last night for the Boston and Washington game, which we'll move right along to because the Pacers game was so bad, we can't even spend that much time on it.
Yeah.
But, man, the Boston Celtics sent the Washington Wizards into a do-or-die situation with a 118-110 victory.
Yep.
Now, that game had some interesting occurrences that went down in it. As Boston came out, they started the game really strong, and then Washington woke up.
Yep.
I mean, it seemed like Bradley Beal was kind of like really laboring on that hamstring, and then it loosened up, and he really got into his own, and they went on a 21-7 run, took the lead back, ended up going into the half up by 2.
Yep.
And in the third quarter, Boston came out, Jason Tatum came out and said no. They came out strong in the third quarter, took a 10-point lead. They never turned around and looked back. It was the Tatum and Kemba Walker show. Mainly Tatum, but Kemba was hooping too. Both of them shot lights out. I mean, Tatum dropped 50 points on them boys in a 58-4 game.
Third game of the season like that.
17 from the free throw line. I mean, he was in a complete and total zone. And Kemba Walker dropped 29 with 7 boards and 2 assists. They even got quality minutes out of Tristan Thompson. He went for 12 and 12. But I think the biggest story of the entire game is Russell Westbrook. His stat line, if you didn't actually watch that game, you'd be like, okay, this is a normal Westbrook game. I mean, he had 20 points, 14 rebounds, 5 assists, which is very short of the triple-double he normally gets. But if you just look at the activity, well, rather the inactivity, he played the game as if something happened before the game. Whether someone on the coaching staff or a teammate said, hey, you're doing too much, tone it down, and he came out with an attitude like, I'll show you. Mm-hmm. Or if he has like an injury that no one disclosed and he was harboring it, he had none of that Russell Westbrook fire.
Nope.
He was just walking up the floor, passing the ball, wasn't playing defense, wasn't making any shots, which really isn't all that abnormal for Russ because he doesn't shoot that well. But, I mean, he did end up dropping 20 points. But just overall, that game was it kind of left you with a what the hell look after watching what kind of effort Russ put forth, knowing what you normally get from this guy.
Right.
I mean, normally he'll kill himself on the court. It's like, I don't know what I watched yesterday. I have a theory, but I don't know what I watched yesterday. But before I give you that, I want to hear what you have to say about it.
So the reason that the Wizards actually struggled, like you said, the stat line for us, 24, 14, and 5, they held him to 5 assists for the first time since like the beginning of March. Absolutely insane. Russell Westbrook has been averaging 17 assists a game the last 8 games he's been in. And the fact that they were able to crowd the passing lanes like that, get their hands on a lot of passes, and be able to overall disrupt the one guy on the team that actually can get that offense going. Because like you said, Bradley Beal, it took the guy 25 shots to get 22 points. Russ shot 33% last night. 6 for 18. That's not the Russell Westbrook game, like you said, that we're accustomed to seeing. I give a lot of credit to Boston. Obviously, when you got Jason Tatum out there scoring 50 points, it's going to be really hard to stop whoever's coming at you like that. And then when you look at the fact that the starting 5 of the Wizards only had 55 points, and considering 42 of those are from Beal, who struggled a lot, and from Westbrook, who struggled a lot, the offense fell short. Let's not even talk about Davis Bertans. That was absolutely awful. Are you kidding me? You come out and put up 1 point and 4 rebounds? 4 points and 1 rebound? Seriously? I know you're not this massive rebound guy, but this is the time to play. This is the time to come in, and the Wizards are here because they went 6-4 in their last 10 to get into this playoff game. But let's also not act surprised about Westbrook, because we know Russell Westbrook, go look at the numbers, he's not a guy that's going to immediately show up in the playoffs. You get about a 50-50 shot of Russell Westbrook actually coming out and balling out, or is he going to do what he did last night? And like you said, did someone talk to him before the game? Where was his tenacity? Where was this 150, 60, 70 mile per hour point guard that we've seen this entire career? Oh, wait. Russell unfortunately does this in the playoffs. This is where the criticism comes from, unfortunately. Look at the same thing with James Harden. He wants the whistle. Westbrook just, I don't know what it is. He disappears when he doesn't need to. This is a big game. They still got a fighting chance, luckily, but it's going to take a lot. It's going to take a lot. So I credit that Celtics defense because, like I said, when you're able to crowd the lanes the way you did, Russell Westbrook, from averaging 17 assists, ladies and gentlemen, in the last 8 games, he was held to 5. That offense was not able to roll. They struggled. I think shot 19% from downtown, hit like 4
it was
3-point. It was a terrible game. And the fact that, as crazy as this sounds, they only lost by 18. Imagine if Russ and Beal actually, and I know there's all the Wizards fans, oh, of course if these guys played well. There's still a little bit something to look forward to. I know Beal is not 100%, but there's still something left in the tank. It's just going to take a lot, and that Wizards-Pacers game is going to be, I don't know, I'm still torn on my prediction for that one. Honestly.
I mean, I think Wizards-Pacers is going to be a completely different game, and this is why.
The Hornets were nobody.
I think Russell Westbrook played the way he played in that game because he looked at where they sit.
Right.
If they had won that game against Boston, they would be playing the Nets in the first round. He's like, okay, between the Nets and the 76ers, Philadelphia is a much better matchup for them. He would rather go out there and do battle against Philly than he would against Brooklyn in round 1. He knows he's not getting out of round 1 if they've got to play Brooklyn.
Tanking? Is that what I'm smelling here?
If you tomorrow night, if we see Russell Westbrook play 1,000 miles an hour, and get a 40-point triple-double,
like what?
Where he has all these assists and he got the rebounds like he always does, but if his assist totals come all the way back up, his energy level is up, and he's out there like the Russ that we're used to watching, I really feel like this was a posturing game where he's like, I would much rather see Philly in the first round than Brooklyn. He doesn't want to have to go out there and be like, okay, the whole headline is going to be me against KD and Harden for the entire series. They're going to drum up everything from when we played together at OKC, when we played together at Houston, the times that they played against each other. That'll be the entire storyline for that first round series.
Yeah.
Losing the first game, you play against Philly, ain't no stories. It's you against another point guard that can't shoot. So now you got 2 guys who rely on athleticism and the other intangibles outside of their scoring to run their team. Russell Westbrook against Ben Simmons, that's a lot more interesting matchup. And although there's no way I would pick them to beat Philly in a 7-game series,
right,
they stand a much better chance against Philly than they do with outscoring Brooklyn. So I feel like that's what happened. And we'll actually see that materialize in the next game.
They pulled the Clippers.
Well, I don't think they pull the Clippers.
That's what you're telling me. They didn't want to face a competition up front, so they failed to face the Sixers.
I think the Clippers narrative is absurd because the Lakers are hurt right now. It would be more beneficial for the Clippers to play the Lakers first than to wait to have to play them in the conference final when they're healthy.
Boy.
If they make it that far, they're healthy.
Yeah.
Like, play them now.
Yeah.
Play them while they're still beat up. This is your time.
Yeah.
So it would be stupid. If that's what the Clippers did, they're dumb.
I don't know, man.
If you want to jump the Lakers, get them right now.
Yeah.
Like, this is the best opportunity.
Kick them while they're down.
Yeah.
And this is the thing about the Lakers this year. Like, this is why I'm not counting anything out. Because next year in the NBA, you got talks about the Mavs making a big push in free agency to go get a guy for Luka. Like, obviously the Mavs are getting on the tread for, LeBron and AD. Klay Thompson's supposed to come back next year, so Golden State probably is going to be somewhat of a threat. I'd say a 4 or 5 seed next year, maybe. We'll see what happens. This is the time. The Lakers are down. What can you do? Because, like, the King is not 100%. We've heard it from himself, which was really nothing. We know LeBron. We've seen it. He's been hampered all year. The King is not 100% right now. He's not himself. And with the defending champions really on the ropes right now, it feels like there's a big chance for the entire NBA, especially the West, to take advantage.
Oh, absolutely. And I'm looking forward to see just how this whole thing unfolds. It's just like the game we're watching right now. We got the Spurs and the Grizzlies. The Memphis is up 41-22. It doesn't really seem like there's any end in sight for San Antonio. They're not coming back. Just like we watched in the game yesterday where the Pacers just completely throttled the Hornets.
Yep.
We're getting the same type performance. I mean, DeMar DeRozan is still yet to get on the board, and they're in the second quarter. I mean, it's just it's a shellacking. Ja Morant isn't even the one doing it. Once he gets it going, there's nothing to say that they won't win this game by 30, just like what we watched with the Pacers and the Hornets.
Yep.
But, I mean, San Antonio is injury-ridden. They backpedaled into this game. It's actually not surprising that they're getting smacked right now. What I'm interested to see is this Grizzlies game against whoever loses tonight. Because that's what the real action is going to be. Lakers versus Warriors, 10 o'clock. When we go off air, they'll be tipping off.
Can't wait for that game.
That's what we want to see. Coming into this game, the Lakers coming off 5 consecutive victories. The Warriors are coming off 6 consecutive victories. So, I mean, both teams are coming in hot. Steph Curry has been killing it.
Yep.
When he's averaged 37 points over the last 6 games.
Yep.
I mean, he's on fire.
He is.
And there's no one on the Lakers roster that can guard him.
Right.
I mean, it's not like, okay, you act like you want to double team him. Y'all don't have perimeter defenders that can stick him. You got big men. This team doesn't play down low.
Old
they
hampered
shoot.
big men.
This is what they do. You can't dominate the boards if they shooting and they ain't missing.
Yep.
I mean, this will be very interesting to see if Steph Curry comes out and he's on fire because, he's been pressing the issue.
Yeah.
You're seeing games now where Steph is putting up 30, 35 shots in a game. That normally is not his way. But he understands he's got to put the team on his back.
Got to.
And this has really become a coming out party for Steph.
Yeah, they got to win. Absolutely. That's why he's playing this hard. But one thing I will say is I don't want to sit here and act like that the entire Warriors team is going to be extremely seasoned for this playoff run, because at the end of the day, it really is only Steph Curry. Now, it's a great story. They are hot. There's no doubting that. But I don't know. We'll have to see because, like Mike was saying before he got on the air, man, all the chips are in tonight. Everybody's playing tonight. LeBron's in. AD's in. Everybody's playing. All the chips are pushed to the center of the table for this one game. So we'll see what happens. This is going to be the best game of the season, more than likely. It's going to be an amazing game.
Oh, it absolutely will be a great game. I mean, unlike the Eastern Conference where you really have teams jockeying for position, what we're looking at in the West, you've got the Utah Jazz sitting at 1. You've got the Phoenix Suns sitting at 2. I think both of these teams feel like they can beat either of those teams. And I really think both of them would rather play Phoenix. It's like they really are about to go balls out tonight because they're like, hey, look, if we win this game, we get our next series against the Phoenix Suns, and both of them feel like they can take them out.
Yep.
Because both of them recently beat them in this run. In the 5-game run for the Lakers and the 6-game run for the Warriors, both of them beat the Suns. Like they feel really confident about playing them. I mean, the Warriors also beat the Jazz, but I think the Suns will be a much more comfortable first-round series for them to walk into before you had to really get down to playing against the dogs in the West.
Absolutely.
Because I don't feel like the Suns are one of the dogs. They got a very they're a 2 seed. They earned it. I have no confidence in them.
Yeah.
Give me CP3 versus Steph Curry. I'll take the Warriors.
Right.
Absolutely. So who you got tonight?
Man, this is going to be a huge game. It's going to be absolutely a huge game. And as much as I want to bank on the Warriors and the hot streak and Steph Curry and everything that they have going for them, I know LeBron's hurt, but this seriously feels like a game where LeBron's not going to be 100%, and it still feels like a 40-point game coming from LeBron. Like, this is a huge game for him. This is arguably one of the biggest games of his career again, because now you're hampered. People are going to look at this as potentially a legacy game because we always know the spotlight. We like to hold LeBron into first playing game. Can you defend your title first time in LA? You're the GOAT, apparently, this, and that. So at the end of the day, I do think the Lakers are going to take this game, as much as I don't want to pick them because I love the run that the Warriors are on right now. I remember, obviously, when the Warriors were absolutely dominating just a few years ago in the NBA. Injuries have hit them, obviously, extremely hard, but it's hard for me to bet against LeBron and AD, healthy or not, because these are guys that have presence in the postseason. Now, they've got KCP, and they've got an Andre Drummond, and they've obviously got a Schroeder, who aren't going to be really out there blowing it up, but it's more than what Golden State has at the end of the day. And I understand Kerr, you might want to talk about a coaching mismatch because Steve Kerr, but it's like, okay, these are the defending champions. Let's not count them out. I've got the Lakers taking this one tonight. As much as I want to take the Warriors, I've got the Lakers taking this one tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I got a lot of confidence in Steph to come out and really, just blow this game wide open. But they're playing in L.A.
Yep.
Everyone is actually showing up for the game. I think it's going to be a quick whistle. There's going to be a whole lot of people up in arms about the amount of calls that LeBron and the Lakers get in this game. I think it'll be very much slowed down. The Lakers are going to win the game. The league is not going to allow them to potentially not make the playoffs if they don't show up clearly against Memphis, because that game is already done. So I'm taking the Lakers by default, and then Golden State will beat Memphis in that do-or-die game to get the 8th spot.
I absolutely agree, and that's going to be the team to take the final West spot for me, too, is going to be the Warriors. The Warriors are going to round it out at the 8. Don't really know what it's going to look like for them after that because, like I said, I'm not going to sit here and act like this team is a championship-caliber team, or they've got championship pedigree. There's no doubt about that, but they obviously don't have the players there. I mean, it feels like Draymond Green had, a couple good seasons? I know he's that energy for that team, but he's not going to be a guy that extremely contributes like he was a few years ago, defensive player of the year, shooting a 3-ball a little bit like he was. We don't see that anymore from Draymond, Obviously, Klay's not there. Steph can only do so much, and this team is so different from what it used to be, So I don't know what's ahead for the Warriors. I do have them taking the 8, but, I mean, it's a head-scratcher as far as what do they see in the playoffs from here on out.
Yeah, I mean, we
know who's at number 1 in the West. So
I think Steph drops 40 and they still lose.
Right.
This won't be enough.
Right. I mean, shoot, didn't Steph just drop a 50 bomb when Murray got hurt and they still lost that game?
Yeah.
57? And they lost. This team's just not well-rounded, unfortunately. It's just that's what it is, man. They are not a well-rounded team. Exactly. He does not have enough, which is why he is the MVP. And it is a perfect way to get it, man. 8:24 every single Wednesday. Y'all already know what we do. We got a great segment coming for it, too. Feez, I'll count us down. 3, 2, 1.
Kobe!
My boy.
Rest in peace to the Black Mamba forever.
Beautiful enshrinement ceremony by Vanessa Bryant. Man, that one, I'm not crying, you're crying. In the middle of that ceremony, that was tough. We're about to get into that, though. I'm excited for this topic, man. It was a great ceremony for Kobe the other evening.
Absolutely, man. Naya got me on the text message. She beat me today. It's all bad. I normally get her. But, man, we're going to use the Kobe to segue right on into the NBA Hall of Fame ceremony for the enshrinement. You all saw it. If you didn't, I'm pretty sure you pulled it up because, I mean, there's no way anybody could have gotten away with not watching that. I mean, we had Michael Jordan come out and escort Vanessa Bryant to honor Kobe Bryant in his Hall of Fame selection, which we all knew was coming. We thought he possibly could be one of the first players to actually skip the 5-year time window to get in. But even in his due time, I mean, the ceremony was awesome. And there was nobody other than Michael Jordan who could have been chosen to escort Vanessa out there. I mean, he was a big brother to Kobe. He modeled his whole game after him. I mean, he talked to him daily. I mean, you saw when Mike came out and spoke about him. He was talking about how he used to pester him and ask him for advice, ask questions. That's why his game was so similar to his, because Mike gave it to him. He actually entrusted all of his secrets with Kobe. So, I mean, even if Kobe was still with us, I feel like Mike would have been the person to come out and introduce him. There was no other way for this to go down. I mean, Vanessa's speech was pretty awesome. I mean, just to hit some of the key points. I mean, she came out and she didn't have anything written because she said Kobe doesn't do that.
Right.
So he winged every speech because he's just that smart and intellectual. Like, he'll figure it out. So she figured she'd do that just in his honor. And then she went on to talk about just how she never praised him publicly while he was here because he got so much praise from everyone. So she felt like she had to kind of bring him back down to earth. So she say if he's probably sitting up watching this thing right now with his arms folded, saying like, ain't this some shit? I mean, she was very, very candid in her speech. Being like, I'm amazed at the amount of strength that she has because I can't imagine every single day since that tragic accident happened, everything, everywhere has just been honoring him and Gigi, and there's no way that she's been able to get away from this even for one day of her life since this happened, outside of like all of her friends, family, and anyone else who considers herself an acquaintance that actually has access to her is all reaching out, trying to show support and say this or that. But every time he's mentioned, it's got to just dig even more. So, I mean, she showed us incredible strength to get up there. I mean, she thanked his parents for creating such an awesome person. And she also talked about just how the Hall of Fame was something that was so important to him. Like, he didn't really care about a lot of these accomplishments, but like a week or so before the accident happened, he actually had a discussion with her about it and how he felt like he wanted it to go down. So, I mean, this was a major thing for him. So I know it was that much tougher for her to get up there to actually talk about it. But it was all in all, I mean, it was pretty awesome. I know you were saying it was a tearjerker. I mean, I think I've gotten at least now to a point where it stopped taking me there.
Right. Yeah, I totally feel you there, man. And with this speech, I felt like when she started it out and said Kobe wasn't someone that wanted to be praised publicly. I didn't do that because he always was, and I brought him back down to earth. You know, I've wondered myself, when athletes have it this good and they've got the multi-million-dollar contracts and they've got all this going and they've got a smoking hot wife and they've got all these cars and they're an MVP and they're a Super Bowl champion, what keeps them humble? What brings them back at the end of the day? And we always hear it, behind every great man is an even greater woman. And it goes both ways, you know. But this was a time where, because Kobe in his career, people thought he was a selfish guy, only really played for himself, wasn't a team player, the whole ball hog era, never passed at anything. But then when you hear Vanessa come out like this and say, no, this is how Kobe truly was, and you could feel the emotion from her. You could literally feel that speech at that moment. It was touching everybody in the world that was watching, especially the NBA fans. And my favorite quote that you put out there is when she asked Kobe, you know, even when you're hurt, why can't you just take one night off? And he said, because I always think about the people that might have saved up just that one time to come watch me play, just that one time. Just like I did, basically, when I went and sat in the nosebleeds with my dad to watch my favorite player. And then she glances back at MJ like, Hollywood couldn't have written this. This was perfect. It was genuine. And at the end of the day, you know, it was right from the heart, especially from the Bryant. Shouted out all the kids, like even her talking to her kids while she's up there saying, I love you, mommy's going to be okay. Like, she was so transparent to the world. And people have been wondering, how is she? Like, how are things truly going for her? And we see it. She's got the strength. She was able to step forward and delivered it perfectly. I mean, didn't really slip till the end. I mean, the voice cracked a little bit, but obviously, you know, we know what's going on. So absolutely love what Vanessa went out there and did it. I mean, MJ just gradually on the back, like just literally overseeing everything. Like this was a moment for him. You know, MJ, he had to be here. He had to be. And like I was saying before we got on the air, maybe MJ would do this for just one or two more players, but it wouldn't be a thing that he did for everybody, you know. And you look at Kobe, early passing, obviously being a legend. Like, there's not enough I can say about the ceremony. It was great. Hats off to the Bryants, and I hope to see many more ceremonies that can be this sentimental for players. Obviously not in the same situation, but I love what the NBA did for Kobe Bryant. Love it.
Absolutely. I mean, I honestly don't believe that he was close enough to anyone else to be there for their Hall of Fame enshrinement on the stage, representing them.
Literally holding his wife's hand to lead her up to make a speech about him.
Yeah, I mean, the connection they had was just unparalleled. And, like, just a lot of people used to really just fault Kobe for having modeled his entire game. They feel like he stole his style, his life, and everything else. But once you get that insight as to how much Mike actually had a hand in it,
Right.
it's like no one really knew how close they were. They kept that whole relationship under wraps all the way up until the end.
Yep.
Like the level of big brother, little brother relationship they had, like you can see it now. I mean, Mike is there. Like I guarantee you, if Mike had spoken, I was like, oh my God, man. Like, I know Mike's going to go up there. Like, I really hope we don't get a whole nother series of crying Jordan memes.
Yeah.
Every time that man talk, we don't have to do that. 'Cause, like, I know it would have been emotional.
Right.
I mean,
Absolutely.
it was nice that he was just up there to stand with her and support her. Just his presence alone already just, like, it has its own meaning. He didn't have to talk.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's like it just has to be left at that. Like, you just have to understand that, like, MJ, he was meant to be there. He literally was, like, foreseeing that moment. Like, the only man in the world that could have been in that position was Michael Jordan at that moment.
Oh, yeah. I mean, couldn't have been Phil, Shaq, none of them. Even
Nope.
though they all are instrumental,
Nope.
none of them meant what Kobe meant to Mike.
Exactly. Exactly. Perfectly said, Feez.
I mean, he actually came out and said that the dude was more mentally tough than himself.
Now, that was crazy.
And we all know that Mike is one of the least humble people that has ever walked this earth,
Exactly.
because it kind of takes that for you to be that good at anything. So, I mean, I don't want anyone to take me saying that as I'm taking a shot at Mike. For anyone to be that good at anything, you have to be that way.
Right.
So for him to actually come out and acknowledge that, it speaks volumes.
Absolutely.
And for all the Jordan heads that still want to be like, oh, he's just saying that, like, man, miss me with that. He's being, like, he doesn't say anything that he don't mean.
Right.
He's just not that kind of person. He's not going to big up you if you're not worthy of it. He'll dig you until the grave.
Exactly.
Did y'all see his Hall of Fame speech? That was petty sports worthy.
I agree.
He came back for everybody.
I highly agree with that.
Like, Mike is that guy.
Oh, yeah.
So, man, in addition to Kobe, we also saw Tim Duncan and Kevin Garnett also get enshrined into the Hall of Fame, which rounds out probably one of the greatest, if not the greatest, Hall of Fame inductee class ever.
Yeah.
I mean, the Kevin Garnett, his speech was great. I mean, Tim Duncan's, it was kind of emotional. Like, you know, Tim doesn't really talk.
Right.
So that's probably the most we've ever heard Tim say in all of his years in the league. I mean, him saying that Pop didn't want him to say anything. It's like that's almost like a whole cultural thing, almost like what the Patriot Way is. San Antonio was probably the most paralleled, similar organization to where they're so good and methodical, it's boring. But Tim Duncan really was the catalyst behind that whole thing. He does have some craziness going on with his hair right now.
I love it. I love the hair. I'm here for it. I'm totally here for it. I mean, look at him there. He got all the hair now, man. Supposedly.
Okay, it's not that I think the hair is ridiculous. It's the fact that it's him.
Yeah.
Him and what he represents, his personality and what we've gotten over all the years, that hair doesn't fit him and his personality.
His old backboard ass.
He's just been like, he's straight laced. I don't talk. I'm humble. I'm the most boring superstar in the history of the game.
Yeah.
And now I was like, wait, like that actually has some personality that no one has actually seen that you have.
He's going through like a little crisis there. Look at it. Look at that. I'm here for it, dude.
I wouldn't even say it's a crisis. It's just like he might have just been suppressed. Like he didn't want to say anything to be in the forefront and let anyone into his life or his circle.
Just look at my hair.
Yeah.
It's a decoy.
It's like the hair is cool. It's just, it's him. It doesn't fit him. That personality and his hair is like, wait, what? The quiet assassin? Like, that's actually an expression without you speaking. But, I mean, these two dudes, along with Kobe, I mean, the three of them, they got 11 titles between them. Mm-hmm. We've seen Kobe and Duncan square off 7 times in the playoffs. Kobe's 4-3 against Tim Duncan. But, I mean, if you look at these guys, they came in, Kobe, a year or two before Duncan. Just imagine if they had come in different time periods. mean, they won 10 championships between the two of them playing at the same time. And they knocked each other out multiple times.
Plenty of times.
I mean, if not for the other, either one of them could easily have 8, 9 championships, and these conversations will be completely different if not having had to play each other every time.
Yeah.
It's like it's nuts. I mean, you look at the Spurs run, anytime the Lakers wasn't winning, it was the Spurs.
Yeah.
And when the Spurs wasn't winning, it was the Lakers.
Two existing dynasties, basically. I mean, you look at how Popovich ran that entire team. Like you were kind of talking about the Patriot way, you know, just like real quiet. We keep everything in. Yeah. Not a lot of noise. Everybody's on their P's and Q's. Like it's the Spurs way. I mean, that's the perfect way to describe it. You know, Tony Parker, you had Kawhi out there. You know, Boris Diaw at one point, Tim Duncan. Shoot, man, I'm trying to think of these other guys they had. They had some ballers out there in San Antonio.
Ginobili.
Exactly. As I'm forgetting the bald spot, man.
Big Shot Bob.
Yeah.
Won with both of them. Mm-hmm. Like he got championships with the Lakers and the Spurs. Yeah. Like he knows all of them well.
Yeah, extremely. He's doing his thing. He knows what he's up to.
Then, I mean, Kobe squared off against KG twice in the finals.
Yup.
Losing in 08 to the Celtics and then going back in Game 7 and beating them in 2010.
Those were some of the greatest finals I had ever watched. I loved those between the big crew of the Lakers and you had the big crew of the Celtics as well. Like it was just so much star power. Like it feels like, with the exception of maybe the Warriors and the Cavs for those first few years, and I mean, even then it was really the Warriors so stacked over them. LeBron just had the crazy one, you know, coming back from 3-1. But when you look at all the star power, and we got it in 2 consecutive years, basically, it felt like. Lakers, Celtics, extremely deep rivalry. One coming out, another one coming out. I mean, and like you said, it feels great, the fact that Kobe, Tim, and KG all in the same class, all played a huge part in each other's careers. And like you said, it could be extremely different if one of these guys isn't here. I mean, we're talking about multiple more championships, move these guys way up the GOAT ladder. Like, who knows what we'd be saying at this point?
I mean, they both got 5.
Right.
If you remove one of them, I mean, clearly they played each other 7 times in the Western Conference. Mm-hmm. So that could potentially be 7 more trips to the finals for either one of them. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's crazy if you think about how many more times they could have gotten there.
Yeah.
I mean, either one of them could be sitting somewhere around 10.
Right.
I mean, that would completely change the whole GOAT conversation.
Eesh.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's like, hey, hats off to all 3 of them. I mean, all of them are extremely deserving. I mean, it makes me sick to my stomach every time I see the Anything Is Possible clip with Kevin Garnett out there and the confetti flying. Because as a Laker, I can't stand it. But we got revenge in 2010.
Oh, absolutely. It wasn't bittersweet for long.
And that was even sweeter with Ron Artest, a.k.a. Meta World Peace,
AKA.
thanking the hood and his therapist and everybody else he could think of.
Yeah.
Because that dude was crazy.
Extremely.
It's like, man, it's so many memories between the 3 of these guys and the way their careers just intertwined. Mm-hmm. It's like you have to have all 3 of them there to tell this story. I mean, they dominated the league during their time. Mm-hmm. I mean, hell, until they were done, LeBron could not get one in the books.
At all. At all. Which is like Gary was saying before we got on, it's crazy people will talk about the GOAT conversation, but not even really mentions Kobe's name in there. It absolutely blows my mind. When he was like, I mean, you just said it perfectly. He was a barrier for a while for LeBron to be able to get past that cusp of being on the title run. You know, when you're held back by this much greatness that's in your way for so long. Like the Popovich Spurs of that, that era of the Popovich Spurs, like that was obviously some of the best there. Celtics too, obviously huge part in the Lakers. Like you're piecing it all together perfectly, which it shows why these guys all should have went in this year.
Oh yeah, I have absolutely 0 gripes with that Hall of Fame inductee class. I mean, I see there were a few more that got in. It's like, man, those 3, they really just like
they were highlights.
They're it. I mean, you actually forget that other people were inducted because of the stature of these 3.
Right.
I mean, Rudy T, he did his thing back in the early 90s, but you also have an extreme group of people that think that he wouldn't have got any championships had Mike not left.
Yeah.
I disagree with that, but it's a valid argument. You can't just dismiss it. But, man, outside of that, man, Hall of Fame ceremony, it was great. I went back and watched the whole thing because if any of you follow me, you see you clearly know what I was doing on Saturday. I was out with the Patriots fan club, having a good old time. So, man, that thing went hard.
Crazy as hell.
I enjoyed it.
I wish I could pull that clip up right now so everybody could see you, Feez. I thought about it. I said, I should send it to the crew. And when you bring it up, he's like, boom, cue it. Right at the press of a button. He was hopping around like crazy, bro.
Y'all know how to find me, though. It's Famous Feez. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Now on TikTok.
Yeah.
Just recently.
Yeah, my boy on there.
That video was on there.
Petty Sportz 2 coming soon with a TikTok account. Seriously, we're going to get on there and show you guys. I know y'all probably think it's hilarious. Just wait till the content starts coming. The engagement's going to be great. The show is going to expand a lot from there. Wait for it, guys. It's coming.
Absolutely, man. We got another one to drop on you. Very bizarre situation. As soon as we come back off this brief commercial break where Mike Beasley breaks it down for us, I'm going to present one to you. Let us know what your thoughts are. Hit us on the petty line at 678-871-9602. Holla at us.
Yeah, Dre, where you at? Come on now.
Appreciate that. Famous Facts Feez. Ladies and gentlemen, you are tuned in to Petty Sports Wednesday Night Edition, brought to you by Kingz Broadcasting Studios with the super extraordinary host, Famous Facts Feez, and your boy Adam Lewis. They always on deck with the hottest topics going in every week, 8 o'clock. Thank you for joining tonight. Share the show. Get at us in the comment room. Call in 678-871-9602, 678-871-9602. That's how you can be a part of the show tonight. Don't be afraid. Call in, but do understand our opinion are the only ones that really matter. All right? You know what I'm saying? Go check out some of the older shows on Google, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and not Google Spotify, but Google Podcasts and over on Spotify, and check out some of the later shows or the earlier shows that have already aired. And this show will be up tomorrow as well. So that's Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. Go over there, check us out. Join and subscribe on the YouTube and Facebook page, Kingz Broadcasting, Petty Sports, so you can get those notifications when these guys go hot or anything we're doing here on Kingz Broadcasting. You will be notified. Go get those numbers up over there at Petty Sports, like he said, on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. Get at these guys, you know what I mean? In Messenger, all that, you know, they stay lit. So just because they not on air don't mean they still won't pump that venom in your veins. You know what I'm talking about? So, yeah, thank you so much for everybody tuning in. Still have a whole lot of show left, you know what I mean? So call your friends, neighbors, co-workers, text your friends, neighbors, and co-workers. Let them know these guys are once again in the building at the table doing what they do. All right? You know what I mean? ATL, ho.
Yes, sir. Just sitting here checking out the comments. See, Dre Bishop said the Grizzlies are flogging the Spurs. Not anymore. It's a 6-point game, man. That's an interesting word. I don't think I've ever heard. What does flogging mean?
That's what birds do when they attack you.
That's a new one for me right there. I'm like, all right, then.
That's what they do when they whip you on your back. Yeah.
I'm like,
Birds flap.
I could take the context clues, but it's a weird word, though. Man, but check this out. You're not even going to believe this one. If you haven't already heard in the headlines, former Austin Peay defensive back Jontarius Bryant was just straight up and outright trolled via text message. He got a text message from a 404 number saying it was from the defensive coordinator for the Atlanta Falcons, Dean Pease, and the message was inviting him to the rookie mini camp in Atlanta at Flowery Branch. So Bryant loaded himself up all the way from Nashville, Tennessee, and drove to Flowery Branch, which is a 4.5-hour ride, roughly, all the way to the steps of Flowery Branch, where he then found out that this whole thing was a hoax. And the Falcons, in fact, did not invite him to minicamp.
Absolutely
he was
awful.
Instantly turned around. Wow. Then 3 days later, Bryant went to Twitter, and he said, it's been a long, rough few days. I just needed to clear the air, and I'm ready to move on from the situation. He declined interviews from ESPN because he didn't want to just keep talking about it, keep reliving it. So I can't imagine just how embarrassing, upsetting and any other word that you could think of that's a synonym for that feels like. But he also went on to say that he didn't want the person who did it to be publicly humiliated. So I'm like, I 1,000,000% disagree with that. If you can find out who did it, please expose it. I mean, that's outlandish. Like, it bothered me even just explaining it. You sent this man a text message and invited him to come to minicamp after he didn't get drafted?
Right.
It's like the high and the low there is unparalleled. Like, I can't imagine how that man feel right now.
It's a heartbreaker, no doubt, man.
It's disgusting. I mean, and just to think that there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
He got the message. I mean, one could say like, how did you not call the number? But how are you going to cross-check that?
Yeah.
You didn't get drafted. Somebody hit you up right afterwards. Like, who did this? Mm-hmm. Was this an angry ex? Like, like, I got something for that. And I go, so you wasn't going to take me to the prom? What you mean? Jesus.
No, I highly agree but I agree with the fact that you disagree that the person needs to be exposed, because I think people like this need to be brought forward. But so this doesn't happen to other people, because literally we have people out here grinding day in, day out to get into the NFL. It takes a lot of hard work and a lot of sacrifice for these guys, a lot of time away from people that they don't want to be away from, a lot of pain on their body that they know in the end is just going to make them stronger for this sport. And when you go undrafted after declaring for the draft, I'm sure that's hardly like an air out of the balloon moment. No question about that. But then getting that text, and I get it, why don't you call the number? But that's behind us. Hindsight 2020, the situation's here now. Getting that text is almost, like you said, an immediate parallel. Right back in. Okay, let's blow air right back into the balloon. All hyped up, coming from Nashville, driving down there. I mean, trekking 4+ hours, like you said, to come down here, and then getting turned away. Now, the one thing I do like, because immediately it made me think, okay, what should the NFL truly do about this? How should they fix this? Because this isn't something you hear about every day. As silly and maybe as stupid as it might sound, this isn't something that you hear about every day. Well, luckily, on the 23rd, he's going to be able to go to the Hub Football Conference and actually be able to try out, showcase his talents, and there's going to be a lot of NFL teams there. So this guy has the chance, like he said, whatever happened, it was meant to happen for a reason. It's a part of my journey. It's a part of my adversity that I've faced day in and day out, following my dreams, because obviously, to be the 1% of the 1%, it takes a lot. It takes a lot of things. What are you willing to do that most people won't, to live the life that most people won't live? And it's to go through things like this, but to potentially now get to showcase your talent for all these NFL teams versus when you just get a call from maybe one team, hey, come work out for us. That's got to be a great feeling. You got to enjoy the struggle of the journey. You got to enjoy the process, because at the end of the day, it's all going to pay off. And I'm happy for this kid that he's going to finally get this chance, because going undrafted, it's a crazy journey, because a lot of people wonder, why do NFL players only last maybe 5 or 6 years? Why does it sometimes feel like we see so many first-round picks that are out of the league with 3 to 4 years? Because it's a cutthroat business. The NFL stands for not for long. You are not going to be in the NFL for long if you are not there to basically reinvent yourself every year, to get better every single year, because when they draft you, even number 1 overall, they're already looking for your replacement. I mean, seriously, the moment you start to slip, phone calls are being made, we're pulling out the tape, we're wondering what we can do to stay ahead of the curve. Now, I think the NFL does need to investigate this to an extent, maybe not put all this money into it or throw ridiculous amounts of energy, but this person, I believe, does need to be brought forward, because who's to say they won't strike again? And I know this isn't something that happens all the time, but it's very unfortunate for a kid, and I hate to see this coming from a guy, especially with a team like the Atlanta Falcons. Like, seriously, come on.
Oh, absolutely, man. And like, the NFL's in a tough place. The Falcons did not release a statement on it. And
which is kind of crazy to me.
I don't think it's crazy, and this is why I don't think it's crazy. I think if the NFL and the Falcons alike actually really make like drastic measures to try to right this wrong, which is 100% wrong.
Yeah.
But if they're to then bring him into minicamp, give him the tryout, and then try to make it better to pacify the situation, that would be a feel-good story. But on the flip side of it, the message that they would be sending is that to all of the other undrafted players, if they stage something similar, they could get themselves in front of another scout, and that's all they have to do. Like, just have someone send something and act like it was from them, and then go to the facility, which is very easy to find out where the facility is that's anywhere close to you.
Has a skeezy world.
We all know where Flowery Branch is. And I'm not saying there's a bunch of players that lack integrity that would do that, but I guarantee you, if the NFL really went above and beyond to try to correct this, there would be people who would take advantage of it. Because it's like, hey, you didn't get drafted. You're not getting invited to workouts and tryouts. You felt like you should have been. And you're right on the cusp to where it's like, hey, you could at least give me a look. I could absolutely see numerous players trying something like this, creating their own hoax in order to get in front of a team.
Yeah, you're extremely right about that. You're extremely right about that. There's no question, because you would be showing them a way to potentially pull some stunt to make it happen. It's a double-edged sword at the end of the day. You know, at the end of the day, and the kid's handling it great. I don't want to talk about it anymore. It's been really tough. It's part of my journey. And like the fact that he had nothing negative to say about it, he had nothing. It was nothing but positivity. Like you read through the little Twitter post and see what he actually poured his heart out into that. Like, I'm proud of the kid for being able to take it on the nose like this and still wanting it, because as crazy as it is to say, this will make some people give up. This will make some people, I mean, you don't know. Yeah. You could be out there on the edge, like, do I even want this career anymore? You could be like just now starting to think, man, I'm hanging up the training, like I'm about to start getting rid of my football equipment, and then this happens. You know, of course it's a crazy what if, but we just saw what happened with, Jontarius Bryant. So I don't want to see this something that potentially happens again, for the league. So,
yeah, I mean, after the fact, if he actually does make a team, goes on and actually has a fruitful NFL career, I mean, he doesn't have to be an all-pro DB.
Not at all.
If he makes a roster and has a decent amount of time in the league, gets his money up, has a whole career, I mean, he'll look back on this story and he'll laugh, and that'll be a much better story than getting catfished by a woman who doesn't exist like Manti Te'o.
Petty! Petty.
At least this was just one text message. It wasn't a whole girlfriend that you actually never saw that didn't exist.
Jesus. You had to bring him up. Pretty sure he played for my Saints at one point. He might be on the roster still. Hold on. Did he retire?
I don't think he's still in the league, but he did actually play, and he has a actual wife now.
Free agent. Yep. Just got married to her last year.
Like, she's like a real person. He came out of this. If he could come out of it, Jontarius can get out of this.
Absolutely.
I got faith in him.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely took that thing on the chin. I mean, he was a lot more graceful than I would have been in such situation. I mean, it's not like he had to put out a bunch of explicatives or just go all the way off, but there's no way he doesn't feel a way about it. He just doesn't want to lead on and let everyone else know about it. He's like, man, I'm still trying to make a team. I got to go ahead and just take it for what it is. Now he's getting a workout, which I didn't hear about that. Who is he working out for? Is this like, does he have a lot of different NFL teams coming?
That's basically what it is. It's called the Hub Football Conference, something to that sort. And it's basically where he can go and showcase his talents, have a tryout, and there's going to be multiple NFL scouts there. So, like, he's got a chance to impress, like, if I had to guess, at least like 3 to 4 teams. I mean, hell, even if it's just one, that's all you need. All you need is one chance to be taken on, But yeah, he's going to get to go and have a showcase, show his talents for a few NFL teams. So, I mean, I'm happy for the kid. Like he said, happened for a reason. It really feels like it might have. I mean, he got the invite to the conference. It wasn't from the NFL at all. It's from a whole different, thing from the NFL, but I respect it. I like it.
Oh, absolutely. Like, man, regardless of whether he gets on a roster or not, Jontarius, somebody who's listening to the show, we need to get him on. We got to talk to him.
Yeah. Yeah, yes. That would be a fantastic guest. I would love to have that.
Yeah, man. Like, just we don't have to relive that whole situation. That's got to be tough. But just about his whole journey, coming from Austin Peay, very small school.
Yep.
If he's actually able to get on the team, I mean, that's a great story. Definitely want to hear his insight, just how he moved on from this whole thing without reliving the whole thing. Got to chop it up with this guy. So, man, we reached the top of the hour. What we're going to do is take us a quick break. When we come back from commercial, we are switching gears. We're going to take it all the way to the NFL. Just like I told you, we're going to talk about some of these rookie quarterbacks. They had a lot to say about their Madden rankings, what they project them to be for next year. So we got to break that down.
Some of these dudes don't play Madden. I'm going to just go ahead and say that.
At all. They clearly don't.
Oh, God.
We're going to talk about these Madden rankings. We're going to talk about Pro Football Focus's quarterback rankings. And then we'll end this thing talking about Kwame Brown because he has some heated words for the cast of All the Smoke. So, man, stay tuned. Keep it locked. We'll be right back.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in once again. Wednesday night, 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Daylight Time to Petty Sports. Brought to you by Kingz Broadcasting Studios. Share the show. Go to kingsbroadcasting.com. Spend some money. Buy some merch. Go scroll down to the bottom of the screen, hit that donate button. No donation is too big or small. Support black businesses because we do around here. You know what I'm saying? Go buy some of that merch. They make great gifts, all right? You know, share the show. Your boys, your favorite duo is at the table once again, chopping it up. You know, they did the Kobe tribute for the Hall of Fame deal. They're talking football. They're talking basketball play-in. You know what I mean? So it's a whole lot of show left. You know what I mean? So grab your popcorn like Facts always say. Stay tuned. You know it's going down, all right? Go to Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify. Check out some of the earlier shows that have already aired. And you can catch this show right here tonight. It will air tomorrow on those 3 different platforms. Share the show from Facebook. Petty Sports, go to youtube.com and type in Petty Sports or Kingz Broadcasting Studio, Kingz with a Z. But go, man, these guys, they doing it big all over. You know what I mean? Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook. Get at these guys, man. You know, we trying to go viral and digital around here. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, thank you so much for your support. All right? ATL Hope.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You were listening to Petty Sports, the podcast brought to you by Kingz Broadcasting Studios. You were live and direct with your man, the host, Mr. Famous Feez. They call me Facts. Sitting here live and direct next to Adam. Holla, Adam.
Man, you already know. Hour 2. This one the show really gets started talking about these rookie quarterbacks with their Madden ratings. Then going over I'm sorry, Pro Football Focus. It's a pretty atrocious list of your 32 starters going into the season. Gonna have a little segment there with that, but this is when we get started. Like you said, gonna end it with some Kwame Brown, who was, I'm gonna say it's a little Kevin Durant 2.0, but we'll get there. Go ahead and kick us off with the next segment, man.
So, man, recently, a few of the NFL rookie quarterbacks that were drafted in the first round were asked the question about what they felt like their Madden 2022 rating would be coming into the season, and we got a wide range of answers.
Yes, we did.
So, man, we just gonna take it right from the top. The first person to give an answer was Mac Jones. We all know about Mac. I don't need to go into him. Mac Jones came out. He said he'd be at 85. I mean, I think that's very generous. He thinks highly of himself, and he said that he felt like he'd get shorted on the rating because people don't think as highly of him as he does himself and what he feels like he performed.
Yeah.
So, I mean, do you think an 85 is too high?
Yeah, 85 is definitely steep, and I mean, there's no question that Mac Jones is talented. You know, we went over the analysis of these quarterbacks. We know that he can make a lot of reads. We know he's got a lot of pre-snap. We know that he makes a lot of great adjustments at the line. Lacks on the athleticism. I don't really know about the deep throws. I know he can make a lot of reads, but overall, Mac Jones being at an 85 does feel steep to me. I'm feeling like, and I know Madden here gave him an 81. I would say, and I know I'm being nitpicky, I'd probably say a 79 or an 80 because that security blanket at Alabama, he was throwing to open people. He's not going to necessarily have a line like he did with Alabama, you know, if he sees any time, if that Patriots line is still the same, if that, you know, talent core is still the same when Mac Jones gets there. This is a guy who does have a lot of NFL talent already in him, but it's going to take a lot for him to actually perform at the next level, and we know that for Mac Jones, and this is the whole narrative about the Alabama quarterbacks is, you know, what are they really? What are they once you get them away from these 4-2, 4-3 receivers, you know, 5 NFL starters on the offensive line, and a bell cow back that's rushing for 2,500 yards? Who are they when they truly get away from them? I'm going to put Mac Jones about a 79 or an 80, which is just below what Madden gave him, but the kid's got a lot to prove, and I think he can be successful in the NFL. I really just got to see more out of that deep throw because, I mean, we see it. The quarterbacks now, can you throw the deep ball? Are you accurate with the deep ball? He's got the accuracy, but the strength concerns me a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I think the 80, 81, that is a pretty accurate rating, in my opinion, because, I mean, from what Madden had quarterbacks ranked last season in 2021, that puts him around 16, 17. The two quarterbacks that are at 80 and 81 in relation to him would be a Kirk Cousins and a Matt Stafford.
Right.
He is very similar to Kirk Cousins and Matt Stafford with a lack of mobility.
Right.
He has a higher football IQ than Kirk Cousins pre-snap. I mean, Matt Stafford has a much stronger arm, but he's not showed anything to this point that he can get anything done that actually correlates to winning.
Still an underachiever.
So, I mean, 80-81, I think if Mac was actually to play this year, which I don't think he will.
Right.
If he was to play, I think he should start like around the 80-81 point just because he is able to make the pre-snap reads. He runs an offense very well. With all the new weapons that New England actually has out there, I don't really think that his arms will be an issue because there are no burners out there. And outside of there not being burners, he had burners at Alabama, and he throws the ball early. It's like he makes the pre-snap read, and even though he does have people who are running 4.3s and 4.2s, he's getting rid of the ball after they're like 10, 15 yards up the field.
Yeah.
So he doesn't have to throw it 60 yards. He only has to throw it about 40 because it's already in the air.
Yep.
He's letting them run it down because he already has an understanding of what that coverage looks like. He's getting it out of there.
He's already got that early NFL knowledge. And going to the Patriots, Bill Belichick, like one of the smartest guys already in the league, hell of a culture to go to, right out of college. Going to keep him on the straight and narrow. A lot of similarities there. We've seen the Saban, Belichick, Patriots, Crimson Tide kind of way. So it feels good for Mac Jones. It really does.
No, absolutely. So, I mean, like Mac Jones' actual rating at an 85 will put him even with Matt Ryan.
Which is like
as far as Madden,
his like a smarter Matt Ryan. I said it when we went over the quarterbacks. It's like a smarter Matt Ryan, a little bit of a higher ceiling, but I mean, still overall just your guy, really.
So, I mean, based off of that, he can get an 85.
Yeah,
if he was going to play.
Right. Ceiling.
I don't
Matt
think
Ryan.
he's going to play.
Smarter Matt Ryan.
Yes, I mean his personal rating isn't outlandish, but I think it'll be lower initially because rookies don't get ratings that high in Madden.
Not off the rip like that. As I said, these guys don't play.
Yep. So, I mean, we'll keep that ball rolling all the way up because your boy Trey Lance, number 3 pick to the San Francisco 49ers, came out and said he thinks that he should be an 88 because of all of what he has to offer. His skill set, his running, his passing, his intangibles. He feels like he is really that good. I mean, an 88 would put him even with Josh Allen.
Yeah, no, sir.
With like that, he would be the 7th highest ranked quarterback on Madden from last year.
I mean, comparable, definitely. I've said it. Cam Newton, Josh Allen, like he's got those, like he's got that look on tape. But I'll go ahead and let you finish, man. He's extremely raw, extremely raw.
But I mean, I actually understand why his personal ranking is that high. I mean, the dude went undefeated, won a national championship, threw 28 touchdowns to 0 interceptions with another 11 rushing touchdowns. He should feel untouchable. I mean, what he was able to do at North Dakota State should equate to an 88 Madden rating. We don't know that it will. He's got to get acclimated to the NFL, and he was not playing against NFL talent because North Dakota State does not play anyone in the Power 5 or anything remotely close to Power 5 competition, which is all of what he'll see the best of the best in the NFL.
Which is why I don't know you can rave about these 39 touchdowns in national championship.
I'm saying I understand why he feels that way.
Yeah, he's definitely got the offerings to be an 88,
I get his sentiment.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I agree.
I was number 3.
I understand why he feels that way.
Yeah.
He should.
Yeah, I'm there with you. So here we go. If there was it really would be like his numbers would just be higher in the years played in the NFL for his veteran leadership in Madden. But we're going to say he might have an 88 for the tangibles, the potential, but I'm going to make up another word here. Bona fideness. I'm going to give him about a 65, maybe a 70 because the kid's raw. Hasn't played anybody. We've heard a lot of it of, okay, is he good or is he a great, transcendent player, or is he just a good guy playing around a lot of bad guys at North Dakota State? We know about
Is that an actual Madden attribute?
What's that?
Bona fideness.
No, as I said, I'm gonna come up with that, man. That's why I was over here giggling when you were giving your take at first. I was like,
what?
Boom. No, but he's the most raw quarterback in this draft. Like, we know what Trey Lance is capable of, but I'm nervous because the pick at number 3 was a double-edged sword, and you heard Kyle Shanahan, or it was I think it might have been John Lynch. I want to say it was John Lynch talking about, Kyle and I kept it personal. We didn't really tell anybody. We didn't even let the draft room know until the number 2 pick came off the board. We wanted to hear what everybody said about Trey Lance. We wanted everybody to really make us think we were taking Mac Jones. Obviously stayed super quiet about it, took Trey Lance. But at the end of the day, you are in the NFC West. A lot of great coaches in the NFC West. And I'm not sure if he's got to step up if Jimmy G goes down. I'm not confident in Trey Lance being able to perform at a high level. He's just too raw right now. So Madden gave him a 79. I'd probably agree with that. I might give him about an 80, 81 just because he does show a lot of big play potential, but he's still raw at the end of the day, you know. Some people might even go like 75, which I would understand, but I think he's got a lot higher of potential than we've seen in recent memory for quarterbacks, you know.
I mean, I would go
especially
as,
the way the league is turning into, you know.
I would go as low as 76. That's what I think that he'll walk in with. I think his intangibles and what he was able to do at North Dakota State will grant him that much. I mean, a 76 isn't a bad rating for a rookie quarterback. You haven't done anything. I mean, he comes in with a 76. That will put him on par with Cam at 23 from Madden's last year rankings, which were coming from them just assuming what he would be off of injury. I mean, we must understand that these rankings aren't saying what they'll do next year. That's where they should come in rated on Madden coming into the season. Like, they only have the college season to go off of, who your competition was, how well you perform, and they got to take all that into consideration. All of those intangibles and everything else, I think, are what gets him up to 76. I mean, he wasn't a Heisman candidate or any of that.
No.
I mean, he's not even playing in a division where he could be a Heisman candidate. But
right.
it's like he just, all of that taken into consideration, I couldn't possibly give him more than a 76. But I absolutely understand why he feels that he should be an 88. He has every right to feel that way.
Right.
But 76 is where I'm taking him.
I like it. I respect it.
Yeah, like there's, I mean, you know how highly I think of him, or what I think he will be.
Right.
But there's nothing that says he should get a Madden ranking that high.
Yeah, not just, as I said, these guys they ain't picked up the sticks in I don't know how long. Personally, guys, huge Madden freak over here. Catch me PS4, Schmadam97. Anybody wants to work on his sticks, I'm here for it. Been playing since 05. These guys obviously haven't played in a while, man. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, I feel you. So, man, next quarterback that actually took the bait and answered the question. Right. There were a lot of quarterbacks that didn't say anything.
The only one who plays Madden.
Yeah. Justin Fields. Justin Fields is realistic because clearly he plays. He plays a lot. So he said he'd be somewhere between a 78 and an 81. Mm-hmm. And he also said, because you know how they do rookies.
Exactly.
He knows there's no way he can get ranked higher than an 81, and an 81 would be generous.
Mm-hmm.
And his projected ranking is a 78, which would put him on par with Justin Herbert. Mm-hmm. Because he was a 78 last year.
And the kid is good in Madden already. Like, seriously. You can win some games with him in the game already.
And I mean,
very fun team to play with.
It's your starting rating.
Right.
You get rated there, and as you play, they update it. Because everything's online now. It's not like it used to be. Your rating is your rating until next year.
Yep. They'll update it after week one.
You start balling, they'll take you up. You start stinking it up, they'll bring you back down. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it's a very all-inclusive type of thing. But I think Justin Fields, he's spot on. Like somewhere between 70 and 81, because the quarterbacks that puts him in line with, as far as where Madden had them last year, that has him somewhere between Justin Herbert, Ben Roethlisberger, Kirk Cousins, and Matt Stafford.
Yeah.
So I think with those four,
Stafford.
With those four as the barometer, they were the ones that were between 78 and 81.
Yeah.
He can easily come out there with Chicago and be at that range, if not better. I mean, he's got all the tools. I mean, Chicago has a nice roster in place for him.
Right.
So, I mean, he could easily come in right at a 78, 79 and boost himself up as the season progresses. But I think it's a very realistic spot, and I'm not mad at him for it because he has a better understanding of how Madden works than any of these other quarterbacks, clearly. He's got to be the only one who plays.
Right. His ceiling could be like an 83, 84 if we're talking about like a true ceiling of if he comes out, like you said, absolutely balls out with, I almost said Washington, with Chicago and, you know, is going to be the QB1 from week one. I hope he is anyways. You know, Madden gave him a 78, which I felt like was fair. I would probably give him as well. I don't know, man. Honestly, maybe I'd go like 81 or 82 just because, I mean, this kid can do it all. Seriously, he can make any throw. He's extremely mobile. I mean, the scoring on the mental aptitude test for the NFL, absolutely. I think that just speaks stories about everybody that was talking smack about Justin Fields. You clearly don't know this kid. You don't know what he's been through. You don't know the actual career path he had to take being ducked by Georgia, actually going through Ohio State, being ducked so far in the draft to fall that much, because there's no question that he's better than Trey Lance. You know, there's no question about that out there. Yeah, we see all this potential, and everybody sees this huge explosive tape from Trey Lance. There's no bad tape on him, really. But there's plenty of bad tape on Justin Fields because we want to pick through this Northwestern game and we want to pick through the national championship against Alabama. Like, come on, guys. Seriously, I would give him an 81, maybe an 82 because Justin Fields is going to be that guy. I hope like hell he wins Offensive Rookie of the Year. Probably won't because of Trevor Lawrence. I mean, we all know the hype that's going into him, who, by the way, is an 84 in the game, which is really crazy to think about it. An 84 in your first year. I mean, I wonder, honestly, I need to look it up. Is that a Madden rookie record for quarterbacks? An 84 right out of the gate. Obviously, we know it can fluctuate there, but Justin Fields, I feel like an 81 is fair for him. I would stick with an 81 for my boy Fields out there in Chicago.
Yeah, I'm not mad at that. Like, 81 is a very respectable rating, and he was that good.
Right.
I mean, that 84 would put Trevor Lawrence tied with Baker Mayfield and Phillip Rivers, both of which led their team to 11 wins last year. So, I mean, that's a lot for someone who hasn't played. But
I
I think
single NFL snap.
I think Justin Fields actually has a much better chance at winning Offensive Rookie of the Year than Trevor Lawrence, just for the mere fact that Chicago has a far better team. Mm-hmm. He's got better receivers, running backs, a far better defense. The coachings, I mean, we don't know what Urban Meyer is going to be in the NFL.
Right.
We just know what he was in college football. That doesn't always translate. So, I mean, just the situation that Justin is going into, I think he's got everything lined up for him to be Offensive Rookie of the Year. So, I mean, that team was 8-8 last year. They backed into the playoffs with Mitch Trubisky and Nick Foles.
Yeah.
We know Nick Foles. We know Nick Foles can't play a regular season. He's like the cleanup guy. You put him in at the end of the year, and Mitch Trubisky was
Never.
that was one of the most questionably ridiculous picks we've ever seen. I mean, even Daniel Jones wasn't as bad as Mitch Trubisky, and that's saying something because we all felt some kind of way about Danny Dimes.
Oh,
he's better than Mitch, and that's saying something. He's not that good, but he's better than Mitch.
yeah. Wow.
I mean, bringing Justin Fields in. I mean, when is the last time the Chicago had a quarterback as good as him?
Right. I mean, people are already saying potentially this is going to be the best quarterback we ever had, which I mean is unfortunately isn't a testament to much. It is, but it isn't because there's never been any talent. But also at the same time, with Fields being a rookie, can you really already, like we're about to get into these PFF rankings, can you really already give someone that high of a ceiling as soon as they come into the league? You know, you got to let him get in there, get a couple snaps under their belts. I mean, we thought a lot of things with a lot of players, with a lot of quarterbacks, you know, in the NFL. So we got to see for Justin Fields.
Oh, absolutely. So, man, that brings us to our last quarterback who actually took the bait. And it looks like this is about to be an ongoing saga. The New York Jets, first-round pick at number 2. I know the Jet fans always have an issue with everything I have to say, but it's clear that you guys don't really watch football. You're just homers. Zach Wilson said that he should be a 90, and that's because he hasn't played yet and he hasn't done anything. A 90, and you haven't done anything yet? Let me just put that in a little bit of context for you. There are only 6 quarterbacks in the entire NFL that have a 90 or better rating. He's saying that he's top 6? Deshaun Watson was a 90. You got Pat Mahomes, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, Lamar Jackson, and Deshaun Watson. You're saying you're as good as them? Fresh off the blocks? Clearly he has never even seen anyone play Madden, let alone play the game. It's like, bro, you don't play against anybody. You were at BYU. I mean, let me just give you real context on that. In his 3 years at BYU, he played 6 games against Power 5 teams. He threw 5 touchdowns and 4 interceptions in those games. Those are the type of players you're going to play against. And we want to keep it all the way funky. Those weren't big boy defenses.
Nope.
These Power 5 teams you played against were Utah, Washington, USC, Boise State. Like, when they're really borderline not a Power 5. Because I mean, what they took, did they take the Big East out of that? I guess they are technically still considered, but none of those are powerhouse defense schools.
Oh, not at all.
Like, you played against schools that throw the ball all game long. And that's all they do. They pass. They don't play defense. They throw and they score. And you couldn't ball out against them. Didn't have a single 300-yard game against any of them. And I mean, it's very indicative of the fact that he threw 5 touchdowns and 4 interceptions, that when he plays against better competition, it's not his thing. I mean, a 90 rating is beyond absurd. I mean, you're supposed to be in company with those 6 guys? You know, I think on par for Zach Wilson be a 74. Give him a 74. That'll have him right even with Ryan Fitzpatrick. That's the number 26 ranked quarterback in the league from last year. I think a 74 ranking is where he should fall on his way in. That's all I'm giving him.
Tough, but I agree. I mean, a 90, absolutely insane. I mean, I was like, is this real? Like, he actually guessed a 90 for himself in Madden. It's clear that he doesn't play. This kid's nowhere close to a 90. I wouldn't even give the kid an 85, to be honest with you. Like I said, we broke down these quarterbacks before. No need to repeat everything we've said about them. But if you want to have some key takes from Zach Wilson, I don't like his judgment at all on the field whatsoever. I don't like the arm strength when it comes to the deep throws, and I don't like the accuracy either at the end of the day. And I'll just even add another point. It feels like I've said time and time again, it feels like he tries to get cute, feels like he doesn't want to fully see the play develop. He just wants to lock in on that one route, and then when he does, it shows, because he'll make some silly throws, some errant throws where you're like, okay, like, is this what you truly saw out of this defense, or did you just think that you knew that play? This kid's not near a 90. 74, maybe a 75. The highest would be a 76 for me, just because of the athleticism. We know he can throw on the run. Like, he'll probably have a good throw on the run rating when he comes out in the game. I think he might already be there for like Ultimate Team or something. You know, you got to play for him to get the overall, whatever it may be. Mm-hmm. But overall, with Zach Wilson being a 90, I cannot get down with that at all. Like I said, the highest, his ceiling, would be like a 76 for me, and that's only because of the athleticism. Seriously.
Yeah, I mean, that's 90 is just outlandish. I can't go higher than 74 just because of where the other quarterbacks are ranked.
Right. It's like, is he even a 75 or a 76? Nah, I don't think so.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Madden actually came out. When the game drops, they rank him like a 70.
On some Davis Mills type stuff. Whew.
Yeah, it's like, you're going to have to prove it.
Yeah.
Like, the Jets drafted you way up there. We don't trust it. You got to show us. Until you do, you're not going to be rated that high.
Yeah.
Just can't. I can't see it. Can't do it for all the reasons that I outlined. It's ridiculous. I mean, at least he's got confidence. I can give him that.
Right. I was like, when I heard 90, I was like, no way he plays. I was like, there's no way this kid plays Madden. It can't be possible. There's no way.
Yeah. Week 1 against Carolina, your 90 will be a 60.
55.
That's gonna happen quick, fast, and in a hurry. So, man, we're going to stick with these quarterbacks, but we're going to shift gears. We're moving on to Pro Football Focus. They recently put out their list of their quarterback rankings for 2021. And it's crazy. I mean, the top 5 we're not mad at. No one's mad at the players who were there. I would rearrange them, but I'm not mad at who's up there.
Right.
We got Pat Mahomes, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, Deshaun Watson. That's our top 5, according to Pro Football Focus, moving into the next season. I don't have any issues with the 5 guys that are there, although Deshaun Watson, he's questionable. But we got a little game to play. Say Adam is going to take this thing for us.
Absolutely, guys. So we're going to be your stockbrokers tonight per Pro Football Focus with these quarterback ratings. So there's a few on here that did stick out to us. Like I said, top 5 we're not complaining about. But after that, I mean, it's all up for debate. So we actually went and picked 10 people from the top 32 quarterbacks that Pro Football Focus put out for the NFL. And we'll start with Josh Allen at number 6. We'll play some buy, sell, or hold. Feez, you'll kick it off for us, man. Josh Allen at 6. Buy, sell, or hold the placement.
I'm going to hold on Josh Allen at 6 just because I would have him at 6 if I felt like Deshaun Watson was actually going to play this season. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, I would sell. If I actually knew the status of Deshaun Watson, then I could give you a definitive answer.
Right.
But it all is contingent upon him. If Deshaun plays, I'm holding, which is what it's looking like at the moment. If he does not play, which is what I think will happen,
right,
then I would sell because I'd have to move him up.
Yeah, I'm there with you. I'm going to hold as well, and only because I think he should be a 5 ahead of Deshaun Watson next year. I've got Emmanuel Sanders coming in, obviously, for the Bills, who's been a great receiver no matter where he's been. He'll take the 3 or the 4 position. You know he's going to be a 2, but they got Cole Beasley, so he's probably going to be a 3, 4, maybe a 5 guy that's still going to be able to produce because they love slinging the football over there. Matt Breida coming out, who's also a B to a B-plus player, just like Emmanuel Sanders, going to be a scat back, be able to take the pressure off Josh Allen, and he won't have to be the leading rusher for the team. I'm extremely high on Josh Allen. I'll go ahead on record right now and say it. This is my MVP pick for next year. I think he's going to extremely accelerate. We already saw what he did with Stephon Diggs. That team is just going to continually get better under McDermott. They're trying to get that defense back to what they used to be. This is going to be a hot offense in the NFL. This is my second best team going into this year behind the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I am going to hold on Josh Allen at number 6. As much as I want to buy, I'll hold because I feel like he should be at number 5. But we're not absolutely sure yet because it has just been one good year, but I see a lot of potential for Josh Allen to excel this year. A lot of it. Moving on to number 7. They had Dak Prescott at number 7 on Pro Football Focus. Coming off of the injury. Fees, buy, sell, or hold?
Oh, I'm selling that stock all day.
Going broke on it. We dip it.
The man only played 5 games, and he just got a monster contract, and we know what happens with almost every NFL player. When they get that big contract, there's a regression. But the mere fact that the Pro Football Focus rankings are supposed to be based off of last year, how are you giving Dak that much credit for the 5 games that he played?
Yeah.
He didn't even play a half a season, and you've got him ranked number 7 over all of these quarterbacks? He's got to prove it. Like, you're giving him credit for the year before last? Mm-hmm. Even that year, they went 8-8. He threw for a lot of yards, but those are empty stats, the same as what Matt Ryan throws for every year.
Yeah.
They don't equate to wins. Those stats don't mean a whole lot. Don't come at me with all these stats if you're not winning.
Yeah.
You got to win. Woo. It's ridiculous. So I'm selling it times 1,000.
Going broke on his stock. There's no way he's having Dak Prescott stock in the house. It's going to be a hold for me because this is an injury. I know Dak's talented. I know the guy can sling the football. I know about a lot of the garbage yards and the offense really having to kick it up at the end of the day. But this does feel like this could potentially be a different Cowboys team. They didn't go for a lot of big shots in the draft. Yeah, they've got like 90 linebackers in the room right now. But you felt the Cowboys try to be more simple in this draft. I know they didn't necessarily go after the offensive line like they should have because we feel like it's getting old. We want to see an emergence in Zeke, which is another reason why I hold it. If Zeke isn't there and makes Dak really have to throw so many times a game, pulling up these garbage yards, you don't know what Dak Prescott's going to truly be. It is off of an injury. I am going to hold him at number 7, though. I'm not sure about it just yet. Now they had Baker Mayfield. Yeah, because I know the guy's talented. I know he's going to have plenty of weapons to throw to. There's no doubt about that. And, I mean, we saw the trajectory he was potentially on for last year. Then the injury came. We knew about the contract, and we weren't sure. Don't think he was worth the money either. At all don't think he was worth the money. But he had the ultimate leverage. I mean, biggest signing bonus, the most guaranteed. No Super Bowl, no MVP. Like, this guy finessed the Dallas Cowboys. We all talked about it when I first got on the show, man. Now, this is the one that really rubbed me the wrong way because I have all the respect for Baker Mayfield in the world. Love what the guy does. Liked him at Oklahoma. Think he's extremely talented. I think the athleticism and the commitment fell off once he came to the NFL. But overall, Baker Mayfield, tried to turn it around after OBJ got out of there. They had Baker Mayfield at number 10, Fees. Buy, sell, or hold this stock.
Oh, I'm selling that, but I'm not selling it for the reason you think I'm selling. Mm-hmm. I think it should be higher.
Ooh, okay.
Baker Mayfield had a coming out party last year. Mm-hmm. He took that team to 11-5. They went to the divisional round, were within just yards of beating the Kansas City Chiefs. I think Baker Mayfield has proven that he was worthy of where he was drafted. It took a minute. I mean, granted, there were many coaches have been carousel through there.
Right.
But I feel like Baker should be in 7 where Dak is.
Right.
Like, Baker has showed that he is a top-tier quarterback. Not elite, but he's up there. Because we look at the quarterbacks that are in the league, once you get past about 5 or 6, then we start drawing straws anyway. I have our top 6, just as all the guys they got. Well, I actually took Deshaun Watson out of my rankings, period.
As did I. I don't think he's going to be here next year.
Otherwise, that would bump Baker down to 8. But I got him at 7 because I completely took Deshaun out. But I think he should be sitting at 8 right behind Lamar.
Okay.
That's where I've got Baker. I mean, we're judging solely from last year.
Exactly.
I don't want to hear about what he did his rookie year or the year after that and his struggles. These rankings are solely based off of last year and coming into this year where they should be ranked. Baker Mayfield should be ranked number 7.
That's too steep for me, man. And that's the exact reason I'm going to sell at number 10, because we can't sit here and give Baker all these credit like he came in as a rookie, absolutely balling out. Yeah, he had those rookie touchdown records, and he had these rookie, I want to say it was passing yard records as well. But Baker Mayfield wasn't a guy that was lighting it up. He got no respect as a rookie. We just talked about the records. We knew how bad the Browns team was. We knew how bad he was playing the year after that, and it was kind of questionable as to, okay, like we even had talks of, is Baker going to keep his job? Is he going to go and be a backup at this league? I mean, I remember this at one point for Baker Mayfield. I don't even have Baker top 10 for the simple fact that we can't sit here and act like he has performed like this through the entirety of his NFL career. We've seen the bad mechanics. We've seen the poor decision making. I'm going to have to sell Baker at number 10. I do believe he can be a top 10 quarterback by the end or maybe even the middle of this season. But him actually understanding that the pressure didn't have to be there because of Odell Beckham, yeah, that was good. But the team is telling you something. If they're not going to pick up his fifth-year option, he's on a prove-it deal. We're going to say, okay, what can you do? You've got the spotlight now. Are you going to ruin it? Are you going to actually excel? Or are you going to fall back to what you were before? We don't know yet. That's the reason I'm selling at number 10. Now, oh, man.
It's not a career ranking. If it was a career ranking, then Matt Ryan would have to be way up with the rest of these people being out of the league. We're not giving credit for what you did in the beginning of your career.
Exactly.
If it was career award, Cam Newton would have to be top 5. It's based off of last year.
Exactly. I'm right there with you. This one bothered me too. We got Justin Herbert at number 15, a guy who blew the socks off of the league last year. I mean, nobody expected Justin Herbert to come out of Oregon, be this way. I mean, you got Breeze, Mahomes, and Brady your first 3 games. Not even in that order, but those are the first 3 quarterbacks you have to play against. And you're potentially going to outplay them for good parts of that game at one point or another. Justin Herbert at number 15. Buy, sell, or hold?
I'm holding. I like him at 15. I think that's a good spot for him because the guys that I have in front of him, I think they're all better than him right now. He could potentially move up and like really climb the rankings. I mean, the rankings change week after week.
Of course.
But coming into the season based off of what he did last year, 15 is good. I mean, he balled out. He had a great rookie season, but they were not winning.
Yeah.
I mean, you still got to equate some of those to wins.
Right. Yep, like I said last year, too, the Chargers were the most talented team with the worst record. They were the best team with the worst record. They gave so many teams problems. We saw it do it to the Chiefs. We saw them go up 21-3 against my Saints at home, absolutely outplay Drew Brees, which isn't saying a lot. But for Herbert to be as good as he was against a veteran like that, against 5-minute notice against Brady or Mahomes, then you're going to be beating Brady decently at one point in that game. And then the same thing with the Saints. It just shows blowing all leads. I think they blew like 7 or 8 leads last year.
Big ones, too.
Huge leads. I mean, on the road. I mean, at some point. Absolutely crazy to me. Justin Herbert at number 15, though, I'm selling. And here's the reason why. 4,300 yards, 31 touchdowns, 10 picks, and a 98 passer rating as a rookie. Do I even need to go any further? I mean, this kid literally.
How high are you taking him?
I'll tell you when we get there to top 10, but I'm selling Justin Herbert at number 15 because this guy is definitely going to be a good quarterback in the coming year. You've seen the vision already. You've seen the fact that he can move in the pocket. He's obviously got the arm. He can throw on the run, and he's only going to be getting better behind that offensive line that they just got for him in Los Angeles. So we'll see. Bringing in Corey Linsley, potentially the best center in football. Get him another, a guard or a tackle that they brought in for him? So, I mean, we'll see, man. But I got Justin Herbert. I got a lot of hopes for this kid because the way that he came out of the gate, being able to play at such a high level, and I know it didn't equate into wins, but let's not act like he's not into.
I'll see when we get to our top 10. You got him ranked that high?
Sure do.
Jesus.
I sure do. Absolutely, Justin Herbert is a top 10 quarterback.
That
going
ain't Jameson in his cup.
Yeah, this is.
I don't know what it is. It ain't Jameson.
Sweet tea.
We're not drinking the same thing. That's stronger than Jameson.
Man, it's fantastic, whatever it is. I mean.
It's got to be way stronger.
When that truth serum or that secret sauce, man, it just gets worse as we go down the list, though. Kyler Murray at number 17. I mean, really, guys? Kyler at 17? You're going to take the injury that he had last year and the fact that he's got Cliff Kingsbury as his coach who should have not even got the job in the first place. I'm being extremely nice to the guy when I was talking about him the way I was a couple months back because are they really making the right situations for this young team? But Feez, kick us off. Buy, sell, or hold. Kyler Murray is 17.
Oh, I'm selling all day. He should be way higher than that. The man threw 26 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, just a tick under 4,000 yards. He was rushing the ball. Still, he was beasting on the run even after the injury.
Exactly.
And he didn't miss any games. He played all 16 games even though he was hurt.
Exactly.
I mean, that's got to count for a good bit. He's going to come back healthy this season. I mean, he didn't have a bad year last year, even despite the injuries. He went 8-8. You gave Dak Prescott 7. Like, you ranked him number 7 after going 8-8 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And coming off of an injury from last year. And you disrespected Kyler Murray like this? Mm-hmm. I mean, that's outlandish. He should be way higher. I'm selling that all day.
Right there with you, man. I'm selling Kyler as well. I think Kyler, again, you might call me crazy. I think Kyler Murray is another top 10 quarterback in this league. Throws a great football. He's got great vision for the field. He runs to attack. He's not going to scramble to get out of it like a Mahomes or Wilson will. No, he's going to run at you like Lamar Jackson. He's going to attack the defense. He's going to keep you on your toes, run those sweeps, run those options, be able to pull those RPOs off beautifully. And the fact that he's that small and he's able to be that wiry and have that great of an arm already, Kyler Murray's got extreme talent to succeed in this league. Now we go further down the list, which where it really got crazy. So, guy that hasn't even played a snap yet, number 1 overall pick in this year's draft, Trevor Lawrence at number 21, Feez. Buy, sell, or hold?
Oh, I'm selling. I mean, the dude hasn't played. He's coming into
Single
Jacksonville.
snap.
It's like you're coming into a franchise that was horrible. They went 1-15 last year. That's why he's playing there. Hasn't played any snaps. He's not going to have all the weapons at his disposal. Different coaching, better competition. And the mere fact that he hasn't played any snaps, you can't rank him that high.
Right.
I mean, just for context, just look at who's below him. Jimmy G is below him.
Not better.
Carson Wentz, Jameis Winston, Jared Goff, Cam Newton, Sam Darnold, Jalen Hurts. Like, all of these dudes, they played. It's like the rookie quarterbacks should all actually just be sitting at the bottom until they do something.
Literally.
You can't rank them like that.
32, 28. 28 through 32, I think.
If you want to have 3 to 4 of the rookie quarterbacks sitting in your Pro Football Focus rankings, they should all be at the bottom.
Literally.
You've got to let them do something. It's not a knock that you say, hey, I think he's going to be this good. You have no clue. All of them need to be sitting at the bottom until we see what they do. You see how low Tua is. How high? I wonder how high they had him ranked coming in last year.
Right.
Since they don't care about injuries. And they're like, okay, you just walked in. You were balling at Bama. We'll rank you in the middle of the pack. Like, you're not a top 16 ranked quarterback in the NFL yet.
Yeah.
You got to play.
Yep.
These dudes are battle tested. That's why we have so much information on them to rank them.
Yep.
And it's based off last season. They ain't had no last season.
None. Not at all. No NFL experience. It's going to be a hold for me because we know how the scouts obviously have viewed Trevor Lawrence, the second coming of Brady, whatever you want to say at this point. Andrew Luck, all this, and that. There's no reason to go on and on about Trevor Lawrence. The kid's been huge since high school. The only reason I'm holding is because with the exception of Jimmy G, Wentz, and Cam Newton, I can argue that he has shown more promise than any other quarterback below him. We know how he's viewed in the media. 21, as crazy as it is, I barely understand it, so I'll hold him there at 21. Now, right after him, a guy that I just mentioned, Jimmy Garoppolo at 22. Buy, sell, or hold?
Oh, I'm selling that. He should be ranked much, much higher than that since these rankings are assuming health, and I have to say that they're assuming health, seeing as how Dak is ranked number 7, coming off of a broken ankle. Jimmy G's injury was not that bad.
Yeah.
So if we're assuming health, the last time Jimmy was healthy, he took his team to the Super Bowl. Dak ain't never done that. It's disrespectful to have this man ranked at 22 if you're using projections coming off of injuries. If Jimmy G is healthy, then San Francisco is a Super Bowl contender. You can't say that about Dallas.
Yeah.
San Francisco is unquestionably a Super Bowl contender with a healthy Jimmy G.
Yep.
That's disrespectful. I'm selling. He should be way higher.
Yep, I'm right there with you. I'm actually going to buy because outside of the Super Bowl year, Jimmy G has been nothing, and that's showing to, that's coming to the top right now.
He was hurt all of those years, too.
Exactly. So it's like, how can we rightfully give him this record if he's really been an injury-riddled quarterback his entire time? And I get where you're coming from, too, if this is about all these hypotheticals or putting Dak up this high. There is no question, though, as much as Dak maybe shouldn't be that high, There's no question that he is more talented than Jimmy Garoppolo, but it's been nothing but injuries for Jimmy G. Again, you're starting to wonder, when is Trey Lance potentially going to come in? Is there something? Is there a Jimmy G trade that might be on the back end? We're not sure about it yet. I'm actually going to buy this one because Jimmy G's been extremely injury riddled. And like I said, I know about the Super Bowl year, but that's 1 year to where he really had a lot around him, if we're being honest. Yes, he made the throws when you needed him to, but there's a reason a guy threw 9 passes in an NFC Championship game, 8-9 passes in an NFC title game. I mean, there was no reason for the guy to pass the ball because of how loaded they were around him. Now we go to Justin Fields at number 25. You got him ahead of Jared Goff, Cam Newton, Darnold, Tua, Wilson, Hurts. Buy, sell, or hold.
Selling, just for the same reason I told you about Trevor Lawrence. I mean, I think he could end up being higher than that, but the fact that he hasn't played says that he needs to be at the bottom. Mm-hmm. Him, Zach Wilson, Trevor Lawrence, they should be the bottom 3 until they actually have done something. Mm-hmm. It's just purely off of that. He can't possibly be regarded as better at any of those quarterbacks because he hasn't played.
Yeah. I get what you're saying there. That's going to be a hold for me, honestly, at number 25 because I know he's above Goff. Like I said, Newton, Darnold, Tua, Wilson, Hurts, Andrew Luck, which is kind of arguable because you look at those quarterbacks as of late. I mean,
you
obviously.
called him Andrew Luck. Drew Lock.
Oh, did I say Andrew? Drew Lock, my fault. I said Drew
Luck.
Lock.
You said Andrew Luck. It sounded like Andrew Luck. My bad.
You're good, man. You're good, man. Miss that guy every day in the NFL, though. But yeah, over Drew Lock as well, which, like I said, is arguable because these quarterbacks have been nothing really as of late. Then you look at a guy like Tua who hasn't really got a huge chance. You bring him in for a few games, he's getting pulled in, put out, or put in, pulled out, whatever it may be. Jared Goff had the 1 Super Bowl year. Then they immediately sent him out. Cam Newton, outside of the 1 MVP year, he's still been kind of a question mark in the NFL. Jalen Hurts, the disrespect absolutely blows my mind for Jalen Hurts because we're really going to act like out of all these people, he's gotten any sort of shot in the NFL. I mean, they're pulling him at the end of the season to say, okay, yeah, we're going to tank because we love this draft pick. Whatever the case may be, he's pissed off about it. You got a bogus head coach in the building. Like, enough about Jalen Hurts, though. Fields at 25, I've got to hold it because everybody he is above, it's arguable because those guys haven't shown any promise yet in the NFL. Almost done here, guys. We got 2 quarterbacks left. Zach Wilson at number 30. Buy, sell, or hold.
No, I'll hold that. Well, actually, I'll buy that.
I was about to say, that's got to be a hard buy for you. That's a buy 5 times over.
Yeah, Zach Wilson at 30. I mean, that means that there'll be 2 quarterbacks worse than him, but I actually might have to sell that just for the mere fact that I want all the rookies at the bottom. He should be at the very bottom.
Here come the Jets fans. There they come.
He should be at 32 because I feel like Trevor Lawrence should be 30 and Justin Fields should be 31 because they haven't played.
Yeah, here they come, man.
So of the 3 rookie quarterbacks that are ranked in the top 32, he is the lesser of the 3, so he should be at the bottom.
Uh-huh.
And I mean, the Jets fans, get out your feelings, because that actually says that Drew Lock should be ahead of all 3 of them, only because he actually played. I'm just saying, let them come in and do something before you rank them. You can't rank them ahead of people if it's based off of last season and they haven't played.
Exactly.
But apparently you Jets people don't watch football. All you do is watch the Jets and then cry and like a Patriots fan said something about us. Y'all don't watch football.
That shit got me in my feelings. Hey, that's what it is with the Jets fans, man. I mean, like we've said, Zach Wilson feels like Sam Darnold as a rookie, literally. Yeah, you got Vera Tucker. I know you got Elijah Moore out there, which that is some talent. There's no questioning that. Still got a rookie quarterback. Still got an aggressive media. Still got a rookie head coach. You're still in a hell of a division where you're going to have to play the Bills twice. You're going to have to play the Patriots twice. And the Dolphins is a hell of a defense as well at the end of the day. Defensively, it does not match up well for Zach Wilson, and that's going to be a sell because, honestly, are we really going to say that Zach Wilson is better than Jalen Hurts?
Absolutely not.
Are you kidding me? The disrespect for Jalen Hurts is really starting to irk me like the Westbrook disrespect. And I know it's not the same situation, but we know both of these guys are uber talented. We know that both of them can absolutely play at the end of the day. Let's not act like Jalen Hurts didn't run to Oklahoma and damn near run to the Heisman because of something named Joe Burrow hopped in is the reason why he wasn't getting major votes. And I'm pretty sure even then he came in second, correct?
He was a finalist. I don't know what place he was.
I'm pretty sure Jalen Hurts was second in the Heisman voting. Joe Burrow obviously won it by a landslide, NCAA record. There's no question about that. But Zach Wilson at 30, I mean, it could be a buy because, yeah, he's this bad. Or for me, it's a sell because we're really going to put Jalen Hurts below Zach Wilson. Below him. He went literally, one, he went to a team that didn't need him, and two, he hasn't even been given a chance. He's been getting pulled out of these games. When Jalen Hurts goes to, because I'm calling it now, when Jalen Hurts goes to another NFL team, maybe like with a Ryan Tannehill situation, gets to a coach that can truly unfold him, he's going to be a fantastic quarterback in his league. He'll be a top 14, 15 quarterback by the time it's said and done with if he gets put into the right system. And don't be trying to be cute, saying, oh, that could happen with anybody, because Jalen Hurts is a special talent in the league. It's a sell for me with Wilson at number 30. Last one here, Jalen Hurts at number 31. I've said my piece, literally just spit it out there. Buy, sell, or hold for Jalen Hurts at number 31.
Oh, I'm absolutely selling, man. Like, he only played 4 games last year. The dude came out of college, won 2 national championships, and then took another team to the playoff. Like, we're talking about people who came from nowhere schools and still didn't ball out against that competition, and you're ranking them ahead of Jalen Hurts? Like, man, this dude he's a story of resilience.
Literally.
He balled out in Bama, lost his job, went to the Wizard, found out how to pass, turned into a very good passer, went to Oklahoma, damn near won a Heisman, came into the NFL, sat behind a quarterback who had just taken over a team, went to the Super Bowl. Well, Carson, he didn't take his team to a Super Bowl, but he had a really good year to the point where people are actually giving him credit for a Super Bowl and an MVP that he didn't win, either of which. Finally got his shot, and now it's his time. I mean, he should be projected somewhere around where Trevor Lawrence is, because Trevor doesn't deserve that. Jalen does, because he actually came in a real NFL game and took out the Saints. He balled out when they put him in.
Yep.
And he didn't play bad in the other games. He doesn't have anything around him. The Philly was like, the entire roster was hurt.
Literally.
They come back next year. Jalen he's gonna roll some heads. Like, they have a legitimate shot at winning that division next year, because no one has any faith in Dallas. Jalen is being disrespected, but keep disrespecting him and see what he does. I'm selling that all day.
Yeah, right there with you. I mean, you just heard me get my whole piece on it, man. I know we're a little strapped for time. We were going to give our top 10 quarterbacks here before we got on to the whole Kwame Brown incident. Going to hit a little commercial break after this. Your 1 through 4. Is it Mahomes, Brady, Rodgers, Wilson?
Not in that order.
Okay, give me your 1 through 4 then. That's my 1 through 4.
I got Aaron Rodgers, reigning MVP. Mm-hmm. Tom Brady, Super Bowl champion and MVP. Mm-hmm. Then Pat Mahomes.
Okay.
Then Russell Wilson.
Okay, got you. And respectable enough. Everything that you just put out there makes perfect sense. Mahomes at 1 for me, obviously, best quarterback in the NFL. Can make any play. We know who Mahomes is. Brady number 2, being the Super Bowl champion. Feels like he's really gotten back to his old ways. Smartest guy in the game right now. Returning all 22 starters to his team. We know he's going to be locked in. Aaron Rodgers at number 3. I do put Brady above him because obviously Brady did beat him when it mattered. And Aaron Rodgers likes to be a flake in these games. He's still talented, but the dude's 1-4 in the NFC title games. And then at number 4, I do have Russell Wilson. Number 4, we know who he is. Obviously, major talent out in the NFL. Huge arm, but likes to fall off at the latter half of the year. Now, number 5. Your number 5 quarterback this year will be
Josh Allen, because there's not going to be any Deshaun Watson. He's not playing.
But you think Allen's good enough to be at 5, right?
Because Watson's not playing.
Well, at least at 6, right?
I would have him at 6,
okay,
but I got him at 5 because I don't believe Deshaun Watson's playing.
Okay, got it. Josh Allen as well, number 5 for me. Love what Josh Allen does. Obviously, I heard that's my MVP candidate coming into this year. Huge arm. Loving Stephon Diggs. Manuel Sanders coming over as well. Matt Breida with the scat back. And the Bills they're going to be a team that's surging for the next couple years. I think they could be a Super Bowl team this year, next year, year after. We'll see what happens with Buffalo. Now, at number 6. Who do you have number 6 for your top 10 quarterbacks?
Lamar Jackson.
Ooh.
He's got to be up there.
So tempted to put Lamar at number 6.
Lamar is coming up. He had an MVP. He didn't play particularly well all year last year, but that team still went 11-5. He did not have a bad year. He got it together. He didn't start strong. He finished strong.
Right.
You can't fault him because of a slow start and act like the rest of the season doesn't count. If we were doing that, then we would judge Russell Wilson by the end of last season and not the beginning, because he did it in the opposite.
Yep.
He started off as an MVP all the way through about 10, 12 weeks, and then he fell off.
Yep.
Lamar was the opposite.
Yep.
So I can't completely just knock him off the block. I got Lamar at 6.
Don't shoot me. Don't shoot me, guys. Number 6 for me, I got Dak Prescott at number 6.
Oh, my God. Dak at 6?
Dak Prescott at number 6, yes, because he can throw the football. Lamar has only thrown the football once to me. I wanted to put Lamar at 6. I'm not sure about that arm, though. I know they've got him receivers, but I'm not sure about that arm at the end of the day. Even in the year when he led the league with touchdown passes at, 36?
Yeah.
3,600 yards. Didn't even throw for 2,400 yards last year in the NFL, which really, he did struggle through the air last year. Obviously the league caught on to him. We saw the huge, record-breaking season where he smashed Vic's record and, ran for the 1,000 this year. But Lamar Jackson has still struggled to throw the football. Dak Prescott, as much as he does put those numbers up, I firmly believe if you put Prescott in a situation where he doesn't have to throw garbage time, he can go out there. And we saw it a little bit in the rookie year, which was years ago, but the Cowboys have yet again to build something around him to where it can be at least as sustainable as it was a couple seasons back. Like I said, don't shoot me, Dak Prescott at 6. So you're chomping at the bit, though.
That was Zeke. We're not giving him credit for what Zeke did.
Oh, the
Zeke
1,600 yards
destroyed
rushing.
the year. His rookie year, there's no way Dak should have been offensive rookie of the year. That was Zeke's award. They stole it from him. They just gave it to Dak.
I highly agree that they stole offensive rookie of the year from him. Highly agree with you there.
When the last time a rookie led the league in rushing?
Exactly. With over 1,600 yards.
I mean, it's ridiculous.
I'm there with you, man. They definitely stole that award from him that year. Now, number 7. Who is your number 7 quarterback going into the season?
Baker Mayfield.
Okay.
I'm giving it to Baker because of the way he finished. He came through like it started off a little shaky. They caught stride, especially when Odell went out. He figured out where his place was in that offense. I mean, Baker, he really picked it up moving into the end of the season. He became more accurate. They started winning games. He finally got them over the hump, and they went to the playoffs. They won 11 games. Won a playoff game, blowing out the division rival Pittsburgh Steelers in that wild card round, and then we're very close to knocking off the eventual AFC representative Kansas City Chiefs. So, I think he has definitely arrived. He's going to have to continue to prove that he can do this consistently, but I can't knock him for not being consistent after he just did it when these rankings are based off of just last year. Yep. I'm not going back any farther than last season for any of them because that's not what Pro Football Focus rankings are based off of.
Yeah.
So based off of last season, Baker Mayfield, number 7.
Right there with you, man. I like it. I got Lamar Jackson at number 7 for me, a guy who can obviously seriously attack the ground. We know that he can see the field well, but when it comes to throwing the football, that's where it's a little bit of a take back for me. I don't know if he's truly got the arm to make those throws, if he's going to be able to make a throw to win you a game. We saw in the Tennessee game in the playoffs a couple years ago where, yeah, he threw for over 300 yards, and I want to say he rushed for damn near 200 and still got embarrassed the way he did. He's not making the big-time throws when they matter, and I know he led the league in touchdown passes. Are we also going to forget that was an off year with Drew Brees with the injury, and also Aaron Rodgers was not nearly himself. That was a year where the Packers were 6-10. I think 6-9-1 or something because they had a tie. You want to talk about the 36 touchdown passes from Lamar Jackson? It's hard for me to see again. That might be his ceiling, to be honest with you. I'm concerned about throwing the football there. Lamar at number 7, number 8 for you.
This one right here is from a man, Wesley Davis, who's going off in the chat room on Jamila. The Titans fans versus the Steelers fans. But at number 8, Ryan Tannehill.
Okay.
Ryan Tannehill is cracking the top 10. He has proved now that he is actually a legitimate quarterback. Year before last, we were like, okay, that was unexpected. We did not know that he was actually that good coming out of Miami because he was in a terrible situation, and he followed it up with another comparable campaign. So, I can't fault Ryan Tannehill for what he's doing. He doesn't throw the ball a lot, but when he's asked upon him to throw the ball, he makes the big third down balls. He takes care of the football, and he takes advantage of the play action. Ryan Tannehill, absolutely. I got him sitting at number 8. I don't feel any quarterback in the league outside of the 7 that I've already named are better than him.
Get ready to light y'all on fire again. Number 8 for me. Everybody hold your breath. Drum roll. I've got Justin Herbert at number 8 going into this season. Justin Herbert absolutely erupted as a rookie. Like I said, 4,300 yards, 31 touchdowns, 10 picks, damn near 100 passer rating as a rookie. You see he's got Keenan Allen. They went and upgraded that offensive line for him. And we're also going to look for a healthier Austin Eckler, a guy who's going to be able to provide more in both the receiving and the rushing game. I know about the new coach, but Justin Herbert himself, no matter what the Chargers are going to be able to do, we can't sit here and ultimately say, oh, if you don't win, you're a bad quarterback, because look at Matthew Stafford. The guy's uber talented. He just doesn't win games because he's an underachiever. Justin Herbert at number 8 for me going into this year. This guy's got an extremely high ceiling, and he will be the reason, if any, that the Chargers are able to make a push this year. Now, number 9, we're getting choppier and choppier as we get through this list. Number 9 for your top 10 quarterbacks, Feez.
Kyler Murray.
Okay.
You definitely got to move up there. It was disrespectful on so many levels to have him at 17. Had to bring him all the way up into the bottom half of the top 10 because I already went through his stats. Kyler Murray had a great season considering that he played half the season injured, and now he's gotten even more supporting cast. I mean, I know the Cardinal fans tried to crucify me for talking about their draft. I got your quarterback ranked at number 9. I just don't think your team is that good.
Now, Jets fans, calm down. We ain't got no Zach Wilson at number 10. Go ahead and hold on.
Yeah, right.
We ain't getting nice over here, picking it up on one team, giving up the slack with another. Now, I'm going to have Kyler rounding it out, though. But at number 9, I am going to put Matt Ryan for the Atlanta Falcons. I think he's going to have a lot of offensive power going with him this year. You bring in Arthur Smith, who is obviously being able to, take that Tennessee offense to the next level. I mean, at one point, they were number 1 in big plays. They were number 1 in offense at one point under Arthur Smith. And this is a guy who's going to look to also take the pressure off of Matt Ryan, give him some help in that tight end position, bringing in Mike Davis. Yes, he's not going to be a crazy back, but he's going to be able to serve in a couple of roles for you, maybe receive out of the backfield, and he can give you a carry, obviously, if you need it. You're going to have Ridley. You've obviously still got Olamide Zaccheaus. Julio Jones, hopefully he's healthy. Of course, they've got Kyle Pitts over there. I think Matt Ryan, like I've said it in my earlier rants before, Matt Ryan at any point in time has a chance to be a top 10 quarterback. I think stepping into this year with the new coach, with the fact that they're banking on you again, this is the year that Matt Ryan absolutely turns up and becomes the number 9 quarterback in the NFL. Now, to round out your list at number 10, before we spill over into Kwame Brown, who you got, man?
Number 10, I got Dak Prescott. I got Matt at 11.
Oh, okay, so I don't feel too bad putting Dak. I thought you were going to have Dak at like 16.
You got him too high.
I thought you were going to put Dak at like 16 or something.
You were too high. I got Matt at 11. Dak is at 10.
Uh-huh.
I mean, we are acknowledging how good that he actually is. 7 is too high. I can't put him ahead of the guys that I already have up there, especially having the small sample from last season. I will give him the 10 spot. He's got a ridiculous wide receiving core. I mean, hopefully their offensive line does something. I've seen workouts from Zeke. Zeke looks like he might be resurgent. If Zeke turns into, like, if he goes back to the Zeke that he has been, then that makes Dak that much deadlier, because Dak really is only that guy when Zeke is that guy. Mm-hmm. He goes with him. If Zeke rushes for 1,500 yards, then Dak will have a great year. It's all contingent upon Zeke, but I feel like Zeke is going to have a good year, so Dak will too.
Okay, and I got you, man. Number 10 for me is going to be Kyler Murray. Love the kid. Y'all have heard all that we said about it up here. He can make plenty of throws. He runs to attack. I think he's the second best rushing quarterback in this league behind Lamar Jackson. Truly tries to break down that defense, and he's extremely agile, got a great arm, sees the field well, and if he could get, that's what I said, a lot of people are judging him off that little shoulder, injury that he had last year, and the fact that he's got easily the weakest coach in the NFC West. They're trying to get some talent around him. I know they brought in Zaven Collins, obviously AJ Green and, JJ Watt as well, which makes me wonder, like I was saying on an earlier episode, is this really something you want to build around with Kyler Murray? Again, kind of like Justin Herbert. No matter what happens with this team, Kyler Murray is going to be able to ball out. I think he's going to excel this year, and he's going to be my number 10 quarterback going into this NFL season. All right, Feez, we are at the end of the show.
Okay, shit. We got about 7 minutes left, maybe about 6 and some change. So, man, let's hit Kwame real quick.
All right, man. Go for it.
Kwame went on an hour and 15-minute long rant on YouTube addressing the cast of All the Smoke. For y'all, those of y'all who don't know or you haven't watched that, that's a show that comes on with Matt Barnes, Gilbert Arenas, and Steven Jackson. So, I mean, they came on. They've been slandering his name, calling him a bust, just saying all kind of crazy things about him. And a couple of them have actually played on the team with him. But most notably now, he's claiming that he cannot be labeled a bust after 12 to 13 years in the league. Is Kwame, in fact, not a bust?
He is a bust, man. I mean, he's a bust who just played 13 years instead of 5. I mean, let's not overthink it. 6.6 points per game, averaged 22 minutes a game. Yeah, he shot 50% just about from the field, but he also had 5.5 rebounds and 1 assist per game overall in his NBA career. Now, the one thing that I will side with him and defend him on, he was the first player overall taken out of high school ever in 2001 by the Washington Wizards, and he did go to play with Michael Jordan, which, let's be real, Michael Jordan was an asshole when he played basketball. He was a tough guy. He wanted it his way. Let's make it happen. Let's make it choppy. Let's snap on. I mean, the dude got into a fist fight with Steve Kerr at one point. So to bring a 17-year-old in there and to continually have that pressure, knowing even if this is MJ with the 2001, 2002 Wizards, like, come on, guys, he's still there. You know, he still had the mantra. He was still putting up like 22 a game in his last year in the NBA. So, I mean, unfortunately, though, at the end of the day, as much as I do defend him that much, there's no denying he was a bust. He still was the first ever, and there was a lot of pressure there, but we can't look at the numbers in the tenure and seeing how he truly impacted the game and say, no, he's not a bust. He's just a bust that played 13 years instead of 5. Well, let's not overthink it, guys. It's that simple.
I mean, by definition, a bust is a player who is drafted high or highly touted that does not meet expectations, most often noted are injury or inability to perform at a professional level. A player is also regarded as a larger bust if more successful players are drafted after them. Now, this is just by definition.
That boy went to Webster's on us.
For all the pundits, yes, I had to go ahead and give you the actual definition. So for all the pundits who say that we cannot say that he's a bust because we did not play, saying that you're a bust means that we're actually acknowledging how good you were coming into the draft to go to the league.
Exactly.
You can't be a bust if you weren't amazing coming in. So it's a gift and a curse, or a praise and a dig at the same time. But look at the 2001 draft. Kwame Brown was drafted first. By this definition, you're a larger bust if more successful players are drafted after them. Tyson Chandler, Pau Gasol, Shane Battier, Joe Johnson, Zach Randolph, Tony Parker, and Gilbert Arenas were all drafted in the same draft after Kwame Brown. By definition, he has to be considered a bust. He did not have a horrible career because the man started 46% of his damn games over 13 years. So, I mean, he was a starter for a long time. His career highs were in one game. He went for 30, 19, and 5 with 4 steals and 3 blocks. So, I mean, he had a couple of bright spots.
Yeah.
He wasn't god-awful terrible, but by definition, absolutely a bust. And for any of you idiots who think that we can't call someone a bust because we didn't play in the NBA, by definition, it's just not meeting up to the expectations. It has nothing to do with our resumes.
Facts.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
All your armchair folks sitting out there like, yeah, all you podcasters are like, you don't know anything.
And here's another thing, too, which when he wanted to even take it further and say, oh, Stephen A. can't talk about me. You never played the game. All these guys can't talk about me. And Stephen A. answered it perfectly on the KJZ radio show for ESPN when he came on there and said, Kwame Brown's complaining because we don't know potentially how he broke his hand and how he went through all this in his life. But at the end of the day, like you said, Feez, if we're calling you a bust, it's because we're acknowledging how good you were, how highly touted you were coming into the league. All we have to look at is numbers. All we have to look at is what the product that you put out on the court for us. Of course, we're not going to know about your family, dude. Of course, we're not going to know about your bank account besides what you're getting paid. Of course, we're not going to know what's going on mentally with you. But if you're coming out and you're not performing, when you signed on a dotted line, when you took that pen and inked your name on that paper, you signed up for all the media criticism and all the controversy that came around it. And the fact that you want to sit here and say it's not right, these guys can't rightfully talk about me. Come on, Kwame. You know we already have a crybaby in the NBA, right? His name is Kevin Durant. We don't need another one coming from a guy who's been 20 years removed from the #1 overall pick. All respect to you, brother. You made it to the NBA. You're obviously doing better than Feez and I sitting here right now. But let's not sit here and act like that you're this victim who is under all this scrutiny and you're the only one getting talked about. No, you're just the only one that wants to come out and say it now. And I think you're doing it because you know the power that the media has. Not because we're not being these men and, oh, these grown-ass men want to talk about another grown-ass man. Come on, dude. For real. You're stating the obvious. This is a Kevin Durant 2.0 situation, man. It seriously is.
But he did drop some gems, though. Like, before we get out.
I know you did hear that entire interview through.
I mean, he was talking about Gilbert Arenas like, man, like you had to pay, open your wallet for these women, but I got my mama's recipe. Like, man, I was dying on that, man. I mean, he called Matt Barnes Becky with the good hair who needs counseling.
Becky with the good hair. I get on here and you just talking about me again.
He's like, I don't know why this dude is so angry. Then he said all the smoke should be called some of the smoke.
Oh, God.
He's like, man, like y'all got my number, hit my line. Like you ain't never invited me on the show, but you want to talk about me.
Right.
I mean, like he gave a lot of personal info. He went a lot deeper than what I actually cared for, but I ain't mad at him. He came out, he spoke his piece. But man, hey, we appreciate y'all for tuning in each and every Wednesday night. We love it. That concludes another episode of Petty Sports. Famous Feez, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Cash App, all of that. Holla at them, boy.
Deuces, guys. Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. We'll be back next Wednesday. Grizzlies are only up by 6 on the Spurs. We'll see y'all next week to fill you in on the NBA playoffs, baby. We out.
Yes, sir.